with disabilities. Pertinent information regarding the emergency situation and evacuation procedures will be provided over the PA system.
Check 1 2 1 2. Sideline mic check 1 2.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Okay. Sure. All right. Okay. Sounds good.
You need to hear our voices. How do you like that level?
We're good. Cool.
It's the kind of beat to go. See my hips, big hips, so chai. See my butts and my lips don't chai. Lost a few pounds in my waist, oh yeah. This the kind of beat that go ra-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Sex me so good I say blah, blah, blah. Work it, I need a glass of water. Boy, yo, 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 boy, yo.
Stadium, where today we have maybe the game of the year in the OUA. Top team right now in the OUA is Western, but they are followed closely by McMaster. Both teams undefeated. Western is number 3 in the nation, McMaster number 4 in the country. They rank near the top in nearly every statistical category in the nation, and certainly 1-2 in just about everything here in Ontario. Now, they haven't really been tested so far this season. Both teams have schedules that are fairly easy on the front end and very tough on the back end, and it begins today at TD Waterhouse Stadium. And now the Western Mustangs enter the field, and they will have a tough test today as they take on the McMaster Marauders, two teams that have been near the top of Ontario in the last 15 years. Alongside Nigel Wilson, I'm Christian O'Mell. It should be a great one today, Nigel.
Looking forward to today's game, as are all the viewers and all the fans here today. It should be very exciting. You see the team running out on the field, and the anticipation is great. You started to mention all about the stats and how great they are, etc. They go out the window now, and both teams have to start to play.
It's a big one today. And down on the sidelines, John Urban. John, these are two teams that have pretty much dominated the Ontario football landscape in the last decade.
Well, Christian, you hit the nail on the head, good sir. Battle of the undefeated teams. Western, as you mentioned, 4-0, but out of their opponents that they got to 4-0 against, Toronto, Queens, Waterloo, and York, respectively, a combined record of 1-14. Now, as we have McMaster, who's undefeated today, we also have Windsor, Guelph, and Laurier still left on the regular season schedule for these Western Mustangs. Their combined record, 15 wins and 2 losses. We know these Mustangs had a first week bye, but clearly they played the easier opponents in the OUA, and the mountain only gets steeper from here going into the postseason, guys.
Thanks, John. You can see on your screen the OUA standings and who is in the top 5. Well, it's Western and their 4 next opponents. And the stats, very good for both teams, but Nigel, we were talking before the game, they've pretty much been inflated by the fact that their schedule has been pretty easy so far.
Definitely, the easier opponents have been there in front of Western early on. It doesn't matter, however, that they were easy opponents. What matters is how the team played. The team played well in those games. They produced the points. They produced the stats. And that's a sign that it's a good football team. And now they'll be tested here in a different way. And we're looking forward to the game.
Well, Western's rushing attack ranks #1 in the country. 380 yards per game, #1 in the country, but Greg Marshall said it's because they haven't really had to pass in the second half of games because they've had huge leads at the half. You can see on your screen, Campbell for Laurier has had ridiculous rushing numbers, but Will Finch, even though he hasn't really had to pass much in the second half of games, he's been throwing all kinds of yards up on the board.
Well, both teams are able to certainly put up the stats offensively, and let's not forget that there are 2 defenses down there on the field as well, and they'll be prepared to try to stop these high-powered offenses.
McMaster's rushing defense allows only 99 yards per game, which is good for 6th in the country, but they'll be tested today against the top rushing attack in the nation, and that's led by Will Finch, who can throw it and he can run the ball as well. You can see Will against Marshall Ferguson, a 5th-year senior, a very tough quarterback matchup, 2 veteran players. Will Finch has thrown a number of interceptions, but you got to remember, 4 of those were in one half against Toronto.
Definitely, it was certainly uncharacteristic of Will Finch in that game, and those 4 interceptions were not characteristic of how that young man plays.
We'll be back with the opening kickoff in a little bit on Mustangs TV.
It's payback time. Does that bother you? Does that bother you? Does that bother you? Does that bother you? Does that bother you?
It's not so fun when you're the target of rude behavior. College athletics has many traditions, but bad sportsmanship isn't one of them. Respect. It's the name of the game.
Lone Star believes that smoked ain't a flavor you add. It's a flavor you earn. That's why Lone Star trucks mesquite all the way from the great state of Texas to fire their grill. Brings a taste of chicken and steak you just can't fake with a shaker. So if that much attention goes into firing their grill, imagine what goes into the pico, the tortilla, and the rest of the fajita. Lone Star, the taste is in the details.
Welcome back to TD Waterhouse Stadium. The crowd starting to fill in on our side of the stands. Far side, you can see it's a little bit empty, but there's a good contingent of MAC fans, and they travel well.
They do. I noticed driving in this morning that they had their tailgate trailer set up in one of the parking lots, and it's great for OUA football to see the teams being supported when they're on the road, and it speaks well to McMaster University and the support that they have received.
The weather today could potentially be a factor. You can see a high of only 10. It could feel colder than that with the wind chill. You can see gusts up to 40 kilometers per hour. Could have an impact on the kicking game. And speaking of the kicking game, Tyler Carpina of the McMaster Marauders has a chance to break a record today. He is only one field goal shy of Western's Liram Hirala, whose record for field goals. He has 76 coming in. If he hits 2 today, he will have the all-time record.
Well, he certainly has a great chance this season to break that record, and congratulations to that young man in his 5th year putting together that kind of career. You mentioned the temperature. I was on the field earlier, and actually the temperature is great for a game of football. And your point about the wind was well taken. I think the wind is what's going to be the factor today.
A coin flip here.
Please toss the coin, let it fall to the ground. Tails is the call. Western, you have won the toss, and you will defer to the second half. You want the football? Which end, gentlemen?
So Western is going to kick off the ball to start this game in McMaster's offense. We'll see them to start this game. Marshall Ferguson in his 5th year from Kingston. He's thrown for nearly 1,300 yards of offense on the season, 9 touchdowns, and it's up to Western's offense, or Western's defense, pardon me. They're missing a few key parts.
They are, and I'd just like to make a quick mention there about the coin toss. It was nice to see Western University honor Kevin Bertoya. He's now standing on the sideline with offensive line coach and our coordinator for recruiting, Chris Bertoya. Kevin is an Afghanistan Army vet and has done a number of tour duties over there, and it was a great gesture on the part of Western to acknowledge his contribution to Canada.
So Western will take this end of the field and we'll kick it off to McMaster.
Well, it's going to be a great game, as we said earlier, and here we are lining up for the kickoff. Western will be kicking off to McMaster, anxious to get their defense on the field and see how they play against Mac's offense. So looking forward to a lot of great things today. All the talk is behind us, and now these teams simply have to do what they've practiced all week, and that is get on the field and play.
Lots of anticipation for this one. The crowd begins to make some noise. And we're about to begin here. One of the most anticipated football games of the season in this country. And Medeiros will boot it off deep. In the corner of the end zone, it's received and out. Here they come. Out to the 20. And that Daniel Peterman got about 20 yards on the return. And that'll bring out the McMaster offense.
Great positioning on the kickoff by Zach Medeiros in the corner, 1 yard deep into the end zone, and nice coverage by the kickoff team.
So that brings out this McMaster offense that has performed very strongly this season. But first, we have a man down on the field, and it is a Western Mustang. Tough to tell from here who that is. But you don't want to see on the first play of the game a guy down.
No, you never want to see an injury for either team, so hopefully it isn't something too serious.
Take a look at Marshall Ferguson, who's been a big part of the story here for McMaster. They had a bit of a rough year last year, riddled by injuries, but Ferguson has been solid this year. 64% completions, 9 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. He's also run for a touchdown. We can look at the starting lineups now for the McMaster Marauders offense. It's led by a solid offensive line featuring 4 upperclassmen. Very experienced offensive line. That's been one of the reasons why their rushing game has resurged this year.
Well, their offensive line has done a great job this year, and also their running back has produced a lot of yards, and that doesn't happen unless you have the big folks up front opening the line, opening the holes.
Daniel Vandervoort, the receiver to watch. He has 30 receptions and almost 500 yards this season. And taking a look at the defensive line for Western.
Well, there's the strength for Western up front, their D-line. They are going to have to play one of their best games of the season in order to protect the linebackers and allow the linebackers and secondary to come in and make the tackles.
Darryl Wadd leads the way with 3 sacks. Northfield has 2. Osikusi 2.5 sacks. The linebacking core, you're missing Poulin, who was hurt last week. A big loss for the team, but they have the guys to step up.
They certainly do, and Rossi's coming in to get a starting role today, and we'll be looking at him to see how he performs, and the same thing in the secondary here, Christian.
We have a update down on the field. John Urban, what do you got?
Thanks once again, Christian. I don't know if you guys are seeing this just at sideline beside me. Number 49, Bewald, is actually taking some long snaps, so I'm assuming it was the long snapper that's still laying on his back and having the cart come out to him on the field. As you mentioned, Christian, this would not be good for the Western Mustangs. First play of the game, and you've already lost a Stang. You talked about it in Waterloo. Jean-Gabriel Poulin went down with, I believe, a dislocated elbow. Garrett Sanvito actually left that game after scoring 2 touchdowns with an ankle injury, but that was just a sprain, and expect him to come on with Finch and the rest of the offense.
Thanks, John. The rushing attack for Western isn't really led by necessarily a feature back. It's kind of a big group effort, and it's hard to stop just one guy in the rushing offense as they give an applause as they get the injured Mustang on the cart.
Well, the injured Mustang is number 35, David Mackey, a second-year player and an outstanding young man, and it's never great to see a person have to be helped off the field in that fashion. He is a backup fullback. He is also the team snapper on 3rd down and field goals, and his position is critical in the kicking game. So it'll be, again, interesting to see how that transpires over the course of today's game.
And you know it's not good if they have to bring out the golf cart. As he's taken off, bit of a somber note to start the game, but we're just about ready to go now. Taking a look at the McMaster offense, they're scoring a lot of points this year, for almost 43 points per game.
Well, the one thing that was happening when we were showing the viewing audience the starting lineups was in the secondary. We're also missing at Western, we're missing the starting safety, Jesse McNair, who is out for this game. So Trevor Lass, number 27, is stepping into that role. So take a look down Western's defense down the middle with Huggins at the MAC linebacker and Trevor Lass at the safety to see how they function.
First snap, Ferguson chucks it out. Peterman doesn't really have anywhere to go, though, and he's brought down. Looks like a loss of maybe a yard on the play.
Right, trying to run the bubble screen out to the wide side of the field. Western defense all around the football. Really defends that opening play well.
It actually gained a yard, but it means 2nd and long for the Marauders. And they're not in good spot right now. Western's defense very good at stopping 2nd and long. But they haven't really faced an attack like McMaster's yet this year. They bring the blitz. Over the middle, it's all duck, and no one was able to catch it there. Ferguson just did everything he can to get it away.
Well, a good defensive call by defensive coordinator Coach Paul Gleason here. He brought pressure right up the middle on Marshall Ferguson, and he got rid of the ball early, and he just threw it up. And fortunately for him, there wasn't a Western Mustang near enough to make the interception, but great opening 2 plays by the Western defense.
Rossi was right in his face as he went to throw that, and you're right, he's lucky that was not intercepted. And now Rapina on to punt, and he's not going to. He's just going to take a knee. And an early 2 points for the Western Mustangs. the defense does their job. And that's really almost a special team safety, because the kickoff team pinned them deep and the defense held them there.
They really did. Great start so far for Western in terms of their special teams and the first 2 plays by their defense, keeping McMaster into their own end. And then an interesting decision by the McMaster coaching staff to give up the 2 points. Perhaps that's an indication of the wind in the face of McMaster that they were facing on this punt, and obviously not wanting to give Western's offense half a field to deal with. They're going to take a chance and kick off and hope that Western has the long field to try to move the football.
And I think that says a little bit about what they think about their defense, I think. You feel comfortable giving up 2 points, knowing that your D can stop them when the field is longer, and maybe not give up a touchdown on a short field if they were to punt that. Because you could see Matt Uren was lined up almost at midfield for that return. And now Carpino will kick it off, and you're right. They're taking their chances here early on. We're just over a minute in. They've already sacrificed 2 points. We'll see
now you're going to see whether or not the ball is going to get held up by the wind in this. Not really.
A little bit of a line drive kick. Shaquille Johnson fields it. He's at the 30. He gets around a man. A flag flies. He gets around another and down to the 42, but there is a penalty on the play.
Well, you can see that the kicker kept that ball rather low into the wind, which is obviously excellent decision-making by the kicker. He got great distance on it, and then the Marauders had excellent coverage, and now they're going to push Western back even further based on the penalty flag, probably holding or illegal block by Western.
So Western will end up starting at their own 25. Western up 2-0 early on in this one. And we take a look maybe at the Western offense for the first time today. Will Finch coming off OUA MVP season. He's having another solid campaign. He'll hand it off, and going really nowhere on the play is Garrett Sanvito. He's gained only 1 on the play.
Well, running the zone option read there by Will Finch, there was no movement up front by the offensive line, and that speaks well for the D line of McMaster.
2nd and long. Oh, they got him to jump. Finch gave him the hard count, a flag on the play. It's going to be offside as we go down to John Urban.
Thanks once again, Christian. There's already been 2 flags flying in today's contest, but if you notice something, it's actually pink flags are flying out, not the regular orange ones you see in the OUA, as this is the first October game here at TD Waterhouse. You know that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. A nice, classy touch by the OUA officials to throw the pink flags, guys.
Absolutely, John. So it means 2nd down is a little bit more manageable for Western. Finch still going to throw. Hits to the flats. It's Justin Sanvito, and he gets just enough for a first down. They're up to the 36.
Good safe call on 2nd and 4. Will Finch takes the snap, throws the quick stop right out to his wide receiver, Justin Sanvito, runs a perfect route, 6-yard stop. The ball's there, hard to defend. Capito is right on him. Good play on both sides of the ball.
Sanvito, 11 catches, 210 yards on the season coming into today's matchup. 1st and 10 for Western from the 36. And Western is way offside. Sanvito was almost to the 40 by the time the play went off, and that's going to cost Western 5 yards.
Offside. Western, 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
That's just bad discipline there by Justin Sanvito.
Right. As a wide receiver, he should be having his eyes focused in on the ball and making sure that the ball has not been snapped. So not sure what Justin saw on that play.
So it's 1st and 15. Finch is under pressure, and Finch is going to go down. Back at the 25, it's Mike Kashik in the middle of it, and Western will have their hands full on 2nd down now.
Well, again, showing the strength of that McMaster Marauder defensive line. They rushed the 4 linemen, and then also they brought the Sam linebacker in, and they had 5 in there, and you'd think with 5 rush and 5 protection, that 5 people protecting, that Will Finch would be all right, but credit to McMaster for getting him. Now makes a long 2nd and
about 20 on the play. Finch is under pressure again, and Finch is going to go down once again. It's Nick Shortle. And how about this for Western? They get the safety, they get the long field, and Mac punishes them.
Well, now you see the benefit of making that 2-point decision to give it up, and with 2 plays in a row, they were successful in getting through to Will Finch. They brought pressure that time. Western unable to pick up the pressure, and here's the result. Now Western is punting from their own end zone.
2 sacks in a row and a matching safety. Maderos will take a knee, and we're tied at 2 early on in this one as the defenses have come to play today.
They certainly have, and on each of those plays you saw the Sam backer, Nick Shortall, in the backfield very quickly, and he really is the dominant player, one of those dominant players for the McMaster Marauders, and already making his presence known. And now you have a decision made by the Western coaching staff giving up the 2 points. And interesting, because you'd think with the wind you might be able to get better field position, but they must be playing the law of percentages.
And McMaster, unlike Western, will take the ball at the 35 as opposed to the kickoff. And I think you look at Western, they ended up starting that drive from their 25 instead of the 35 after the block in the back penalty. Might have backfired a bit there. Mac's second try on offense, the first time they gained a yard. See what they do this time. Ferguson airs it out to the sideline. It's caught. Doing a little bit of a dance though and staying in bounds. It's still going all the way to the 53 is Max Cameron.
Well, a simple out pattern by the wide receiver. Western actually had good initial coverage on that side, on the boundary side. The receiver made some great moves after making the catch, came back upfield, and yards after catch was excellent.
Averages about 20 yards a game, Max Cameron does. It looked like he was going to go out of bounds after about 7 yards, but ended up gaining a lot more than that. Gained 19 on the play. First down from almost midfield. Oh, a chance to make a play in the open field, unable to. And now Daniel Peterman's down the sidelines and out of bounds inside the 35.
Well, again, they're throwing that screen out to the wide side of the field, and Peterman made the catch. Safety Trevor Lass read it perfectly, came in. Problem was he was a bit out of control. Peterman easily made a move and got upfield. So great play by McMaster to move the ball downfield.
And all of a sudden you're into field goal range. Just about, probably on the fringe of it, depending on the wind and how it's gusting. Right now it doesn't look like there's much of a wind though. Ferguson back to pass, it's a little out. And a good gain again. It's Declan Cross. And that's going to bring them just close to the first down marker. It's going to be second down and a couple.
Well, just hitting the back, releasing into the flats. He wasn't picked up, and they had success here. Again, moving the, well, not quite moving the chains, but looking at a second and short. So they've got some options on this play calling right here on this play.
Second and about a yard here from the 22. Ferguson back to pass. He's going to go for the end zone, and it is out of bounds.
Excellent coverage. They're just running a streak pattern by the wide receiver, and Western's Simon Baru on the coverage easily had that covered, and so now they're looking at third and short, and will probably run it here.
Yep, they're going to go for it here on third down. Third down and about 2. You're not going to take the points. You know that this could potentially be quite a high-scoring affair, and you want to try to go for more than 3 here when you get it almost inside the red zone.
Great time to fake the run and put the ball up.
Ferguson, he's going to fake it. Here you go. Just exactly as you said, and a first down. It's caught by Daniel Vandervoort, the leading receiver on the team. Gets driven back after he made the catch, but it's enough for the first down. And you said it, fake the run and air it out.
They did, and it was a safe pass call made by McMaster. Marshall Ferguson rolling out to the wide side of the field and had some room in case the pass was totally covered that he could possibly have run as well.
So now McMaster down to the 17 as Western's defense faces its first real test here of the season. Ferguson pitches it. Vanderweerd, he's getting strung out, and he'll end up gaining only a couple. Good job by the defense.
Great play by Calvin Johnson on the far side of the field. He had a blocker on him, and he strung the play out, allowing the Sam backer for Western to come in and eventually make the tackle. But Calvin Johnson did a great job in allowing that play to be strung out so wide, and they only ended up picking up 3 yards. But Phil Najur did a great job in scraping over and making the tackle.
Crowd starts to get loud. They cheer on the defense. They need to stop here. Ferguson's going to go end zone. It's high. Is there anyone there? Is it intercepted? No, it's incomplete. A good chance to get a hand on that. Josh Woodman had an opportunity to make that interception. It wasn't a great throw.
No, the ball hung up in the air a bit, and I'm not sure if it was from the throw or because of the wind in the end zone. We'd have to check it out again to see, but both Western defenders in good position, as were the McMaster receivers, but the ball falls on the ground, and now it looks like they're going to settle for a field goal.
And it's going to be about a 21-yarder for Tyler Krapina, pardon me, has a chance to tie Liram Hyralahu's OUA record for field goals. This would be his 77th career field goal. Snap, good, kicks down. It's through the uprights, but there's a flag down on the play.
Might be a time violation.
For some reason, McMaster called a timeout on the play. Even though it's a short field goal, it's kind of a confusing timeout. We have an update down on the sideline. John Urban.
Thank you very much, Christian. Number 35 left the game on the first play of the game for these Western Mustangs. He's been taken to the trainer room where they actually have a portable x-ray machine. We're still waiting on the results from that. It's safe to say, though, he won't be returning for this contest of the undefeated teams. Christian?
Thanks, John. So Krapina, once again, will get a chance to try to tie Hyralahu's record, which he did most of his damage on this very field.
Well, he was successful before the timeout was called, so here he goes again, and I'm sure he feels that he'll be able to get it through and tie that record.
Had a practice kick, and a 21-yarder. He should probably be able to hit that in his sleep.
Well, remember, there are 3 phases to the game, the snap, the hold, and the kick, so all 3 have to come into play here.
The first 2 look good, and there's the kick, and that's through. It's 5-2, and Tyler Krapina has tied Liram Hyralahu's OUA record for field goals in a career with 77, and you'd think he probably has a chance to break that going forward today. 5-2, not exactly the most football score.
Well, in terms of...
We will have more from TD Waterhouse Stadium in just a little bit.
Welcome to Golden Hawk Lake. Is this the new Toyota Highlander? Yep. Must feel like your own little world in here. I guess. Does this world of yours have a name?
No.
Ever look at the stars through your moonroof?
I have.
Ever wish upon them?
No, no.
Backup camera, like having eyes in the back of your head?
A little.
1 or 2 eyes? It has a V6 engine, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it powerful?
Definitely.
Do you think I'm powerful?
Possibly.
The all-new Toyota Highlander. One look, and you'll want to know more.
Offense can get their pass protection together on the first drive of the game. Back-to-back sacks to end the drive, and it didn't look good, did it?
Not initially. They certainly had some breakdowns up front, and hopefully the time on the sidelines, they have been able to go over their particular blocking schemes, and we'll find out if that's been done. And just before the break, congratulations there to the McMaster kicker for tying that record.
McMaster, their defense did a good job. They drove Western back. They lost about 30 yards on their first drive of the game. What can they do here? Finch fakes the handoff. He's back to pass. Protection's a lot better this time. He has to scramble again, though. Finch, he's going to go down. third straight offensive play that results in a sack.
Well, that sack can be credited McMaster's secondary. Great coverage downfield. The offensive line for Western did a good job initially providing Will Finch time to find a receiver, but no receiver was open, and then Will scrambled a bit, and perhaps, you know, the excitement of the moment and the initial part of the game, the quarterback has to remember, I should just get rid of the ball, not try to make a big play, so I have a 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 20.
And here they go. The pressure's on Finch again, gets away initially and just throws it up. A dangerous play. Good job just getting the ball away, though, as he had the pressure on him once again, and Western will punt after another 2 and out.
Right, once again, the pressure is coming from the great Sam Backer from McMaster Marauders, Nick Shortell. He's coming off the edge there, and he was in the backfield forcing Will wider than he wanted to be, and then it was a sort of a hope throw to the sideline, but the initial series by Western's offense, not impressive based on how well McMaster seems to have put pressure on the quarterback.
A good boot from Medeiros. It'll be fielded at the 39. Oh, a little bit of a bobble. And not getting a whole lot on the return. But McMaster will have decent field position, getting it start from the 45.
Good hang time on the punt from Medeiros, and again, good coverage by the punt team for Western, all around the football, negating any long gain.
Averages about 40 yards per punt on the season. 18 punts, that's his 19th punt now. Hasn't had to punt a whole lot, but today could be busy. McMaster starts the ball on their own 45. It's a run, and they'll gain about 5 on the play. It's Chris Pizzetta, and what a story Chris Pizzetta is. Comes off 2 separate ACL injuries, and last week was the OUA Offensive Player of the Week. He had 154 yards rushing and a touchdown last week, and on the season, very good numbers for the 5th year.
Well, the thing that you have to commend the young man on is the fact that coming back from those injuries twice shows you the dedication and work effort necessary, and just credit to him for sticking it out.
High pass, it's knocked away. A good defensive play there by Phil Najor.
Well, the pass was, you know, in the area where I think it should have been caught, and the receiver did initially make the catch, but Phil Najor, making a good tackle, was able to knock it loose. So Western this time 2 and out, and I'm sure the defensive coaches for Western breathing a little bit easier after a 2 and out.
Carpina back to kick. A little bit of a wobbler there. Fielded on 1 hop. No, they're going to let it go. No yards penalties coming. Uren gets to about the 22, but a flag on the play, and we know that's a no yards call.
Definitely a no yards call, and really it's a kind of mistake that will drive coaches crazy. Special teams coaches, they had the ball bouncing around on the ground. The McMaster Marauders had 2 or 3 players around the ball. They need to discipline themselves, back up, and not give those extra yards.
Now the ref says no yards Western, but that's not true. It's on McMaster.
Right, it's only a 5-yard penalty, but 5 yards is 5 yards, and you never want to give up that.
So Western will start again back at the 27. A bit of a field position battle right now. Little dump out to Tom Marshall, and he gets up to the 37 before going out of bounds.
Tommy Marshall, the fullback, leaks out to the short side of the field. Will sets up, hits him. Tommy turns upfield, lowers his shoulder, and Capito, the boundary corner, comes up and makes a good tackle, but a good first down play.
Gonna spot the ball at the 40. Finch back to pass. Gives it to George Johnson. A man misses, and Johnson gets inside Mac territory to the 53.
Good setup there by Will Finch in the pocket. Throws a curl route to the wide receiver, George Johnson, and again the chains move.
We have an injury on the field, and as there's an injury on the field, we have another update from John Urban.
Thanks again, Christian. I was just actually commenting on that last play. I believe that was Brian Marshall who's laying on his back in a bit of pain directly on the 30-yard line, if I can make it out, or I apologize it's the 40. But what I seen, though, was actually a McMaster player who was going towards the direction of the play, actually clipped him in the back. That forced him to backflip awkwardly on his flat of his keister. And unfortunately for the Western Mustangs, the injury bug has struck them early.
Well, as we stated earlier, at any time in any game for any player, it's not what you want to see. Young man lying on the field, injured, and hopefully it is not something that is too serious.
That's Brian Marshall, the leading receiver on this Western squad, coming in 23 receptions for nearly 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that's a big loss potentially if he isn't able to go. And now coming in, Matt McDougall will take his place once Brian is able to get up. Right now, the injuries are piling up for the Mustangs. You remember a few years ago, that was one of the lost seasons for Western when Donnie Marshall got hurt. I think it was 2011 when 2012. I know you're a big part of that team.
Well, as I said, anytime there are injuries and there are key players for every team, and Brian Marshall, leading receiver, he really is an outstanding young man, is in his 5th year, leader on that offense, and you hope that he's going to be able to get up and return to this game and certainly not have anything that's going to hold him back.
He's up on his behind now, is up off the ground.
He's up on his behind. Great choice of words there.
There he goes.
If it was, as John stated, that he got hit from behind and he could have easily had his feet taken out from under him and land on his back and knock the wind out, and the jarring and the wind combined makes for a painful hurt.
But that's one that you can come back from, right?
We hope so.
They play on. Finch, he's going to pass it again, passing a lot here. He's going to scramble now. Finch, he's going to carry it, and they'll go out of bounds after a short gain.
Once again, the offensive line for Western has given Will Finch great time. He couldn't find the receiver. He scrambles outside, and unfortunately, we see another Western Mustang player, receiver, injured on that play and is again down, and I believe it was George Johnson.
Yep.
The split end.
George Johnson, after the play, he rolled over a few times, writhing in pain, and now he's down. John Urban.
Thank you very much again, Christian. Just going back on the Marshall comment before, I think Nigel hit the nail on the head. He just had the wind knocked out of him, and we should see him back in the game soon. If you recall correctly, during homecoming, we actually had Tommy Marshall dislocate his shoulder. He came back to play in the game, and then unfortunately for Brian Marshall and for Tommy Marshall, they were to get injured, but they show how tough the Marshalls are. They'll come back into this game no matter what.
Absolutely, John. And now George Johnson helped off the field. Hopefully he's okay as the receivers are dwindling here in front of our eyes. 2nd and 4. Finch hands it off. Peru down to the 40. Sorry, that's Sanvito. Garrett Sanvito, who last week exited the game with an injury. He's back and ready to run today.
On 2nd and 5, good call off the left side. Eddie Medeiros opening up some good holes there, and Garrett got the first down.
Again, it's Sanvito, a good hole up the middle, and Sanvito will get to the 34.
Well, initially he had a good cutback lane there and was going to get far more yards than initially. I mean, it was a great pickup, 7 yards, but defensive tackle Adam Dickinson fell off his block and made a great, I think, saving tackle to stop Garrett from going even further.
A good one-on-one tackle there. 2nd down and 5 again. It's a handoff to Matt Uren. He's got space on the outside, makes a man miss, and he'll get down to the 30, near the first down marker. He got crunched there.
Well, a great play there from Western, the offensive line pulling 2 individuals going to the wide side of the field, and I hope they come back to that play, because I think when you watch it again, or if you see it, Matt Uren was a little anxious and got outside the block, and if he had a little more patience, he could have set that block up and then come inside and for a much bigger gain. He might have been thinking, I just need to get the first down, but hopefully they'll come back to that and see that there is a lane inside if the running back has a little bit more patience and allows that block to be set up.
They're going to measure here for the first down. It is dang close, and they got it. Western will keep driving here. You know they would have gone for it anyway, but they will take the first down gladly.
They'll definitely take the first down.
So they're getting a good push rushing now. They started off with a lot of throws, but they've gone back to their bread and butter, and it seems to be working here.
Well, I know the offensive line will like that to get a couple of good running plays under their belt.
And it means that when your rushing game goes, the passing game opens up too, and Justin Sanvito's inside the 15 for Western.
Right, nice play by Justin Sanvito, coming down in motion, setting up over the middle, and Will Finch finds him over the middle, and he just turns up and gets the first down. And again, Nick Shordale's in to make the tackle.
They're about 8 yards after the catch there, out in the flats. Peru gets a few. Yannick Carew gets his first touch of the day down to the 8-yard line.
Well, just leaking the halfback out in the flats to the wide side of the field. He picks up 5 yards. Now they're going again, and McMaster trying to substitute quickly.
They're up the tempo here. Under 4 to go in the first. Tried to draw him offside, doesn't work. Still plenty of time on the play clock. This offense moving fast. They try to score a touchdown here. The first touchdown of the game potentially. Finch under pressure. Finch scrambles. Finch has some space. Will Finch, it's a race to the end zone. He'll win that touchdown, Western.
Well, certainly a broken play and an outstanding run by the quarterback for Western Mustangs. McMaster came with the weak side blitz from the inside halfback, and I know they like to do that down in the red zone, and he was successful, got through and chased Will Finch out. He was able to elude that tackle and get in the end zone. So just an outstanding individual effort by Will Finch on that play.
Once they broke contain there and Kashik went to the ground, it was Will Finch in a race to the end zone, and he's going to win that. It looked like Kashik was begging for a block from behind or something on the play. Medeiros to make it 9-5. It will go through. So Western, they put together a successful drive after a few of them stall. They lead here 9-5. A good-looking drive in the defense from McMaster. Couldn't quite keep up there.
No, it was a nice mixture of pass and run, and as I said earlier, the fact that the offensive line is getting some run blocking in is great.
We'll be back.
Hey now, pictures cover all the walls, and I'm addicted to the opera, no opera, but hey, I like it all. Hey now, radio silence gets so loud. If you're gonna play the fiddle, better tell it to the crowd. I know the way you feel. You gotta just what's real. Oh, you got the love you're thinking out.
First down and 10 for McMaster. It's a handoff. Daniel Peterman, it's strung out, and he won't get much. He might have lost a yard on the play.
Well, they brought Peterman around, trying to get him outside to the wide side of the field, but Ricky Osikusi, the end for Western, strung it out, and as did Calvin Johnson. A good defensive play, resulting in a 2-yard loss.
Few injuries on that last drive for Western. John Urban has an update.
Thank you very much, Christian. You can see beside me both the center in Van Pret and the wide receiver in George Johnson both being stretched out. I also saw Brian Marshall actually running up and down the sideline. So all three look like they're going to come back into this game and tough it out. The rain is starting to come in, guys, as you can see. But what you might not be able to see is the density of it. Some of it is hail, and we'll see how that can play a factor throughout this game.
Huge pressure on the play as McMaster's quarterback, Marshall Ferguson, was just decked on the play. Threw up another pass. One of these days, these are going to get picked off, Nigel.
Well, great pressure here from, again, number 7, Ricky Osikusi, coming up and putting a big hit. He was also joined by Phil Najur, the Sam backer, and Marshall Ferguson showed his toughness as a quarterback by getting up after that big hit and running off the field under his own power.
Did a few push-ups, too. And for the second time, deep in their own end, McMaster will concede a safety.
Well, obviously the weather is starting to play a factor again in the coaching decisions made by McMaster, giving up the 2 points, not wanting Western to have the short field, especially after that long drive. And as you mentioned, we've got a bit of rain happening and a bit of hail, so interesting weather day to play football.
Now, I was talking to you before the game about the field conditions in the rain. How much does the moisture affect an artificial surface?
Well, this field turf seems to do well, certainly compared to grass in terms of the player's footing. I really think what the difference is that the ball itself gets slick, and so the ball handling skills of the quarterback, when he, especially on the zone option, putting it in the arms of the running back, then pulling it out and throwing it, that's where you'll see the factor come into play.
Finch over the middle. Oh, there's a bit of contact there, and the flag flies. Brian Marshall's back in the game, and he was pushed before the ball was coming in there. An easy call.
Well, you're right. It really was an easy call by the official, and the ball was thrown, I thought, actually into coverage where perhaps it shouldn't have gone, but
Pass interference. McMaster, first down at the spot of the foul.
But fortunately for Western, in one sense, that even though he threw it into coverage, McMaster came in and interfered with the receiver.
An 11-yard gain on the penalties. The rain's starting to really come down. Finch sticks it into the gut of Yannick Carew, and he's met there at about the 50 after a gain of 4.
Well, good initial hold by the offensive line, and Yannick hit up in there hard, but again, waiting for him was the linebacker from McMaster, Nick Shorthill, who is playing a heck of a football game already in the first quarter.
You can see he gets through the line and then just hits a wall. Second down and 6 from the 50. Finch bootlegs out, airs it out, and it is almost intercepted. He was looking for Justin Sanvito, who's a little bit outside of him towards the sideline, and Western will have to punt.
Right, they were looking for the sideline route to the wide receiver, but again, outstanding coverage by McMaster all over the receiver, and almost had a better chance of getting the football.
So Western will be punting from the 50, and again, it looks like McMaster is going to be pinned back in their own end. They've started a lot of drives deep in their own territory today. They've conceded 2 safeties because of it. They bring a huge pressure, and my goodness, that was almost blocked. Fielded at the 20. A good run back here. There's a flag down, though. It was a good run by Isaiah Mells. But it could be coming back.
It might be coming back. Again, credit to the McMaster special teams coach for setting up what almost happened was a block. Zach Medeiros just got the punt off, and then a nice return. There was a big block on the play. I'm not sure if it was involved in the penalty, because it was an excellent block that allowed the punt returner upfield, but there was a holding call somewhere else on the field.
So McMaster once again will start at their own 20. They're not helping themselves here. That was a very strong rush, and credit to Medeiros. He didn't get a great kickoff, but it was off. It wasn't blocked, and that's what's important. And they end up starting back at their own 20. McMaster does. About a minute left here in the first quarter. It's going to be a run, and up the middle, a strong run there by Wayne Moore.
Hitting off the short side of the field, left side of the field. Ran into about 2 Western players, and shows you the strength of the running back. He moved those Western players back with his contact.
A strong run there by Wayne Moore, who's run for 422 yards, 6 touchdowns on the season. And another man down. This is a McMaster lineman now down. It's Zachary Insand, third-year player from London. And John Urban has another update, John.
Thank you again, Christian. As you're talking about the McMaster Marauder who's down, he is grabbing his right ankle in a lot of discomfort right now. I wanted to touch a little bit on the rivalry between these two teams now that we have a break in the action. The Western Mustangs have a historical record of 47-17 against these McMaster Marauders, but the rivalry heats up a bit in the last 10 competitions. They're 5-5 against each other. Last year, they were eliminated by the Western Mustangs, who were the McMaster Marauders. The year before that, it was flipped. Neither of these teams like each other, and expect more of the hate to continue as this football game wears on.
In the last 10 years or so, this rivalry's really heated up. This is the touchdown run here. You can see, not really a block from behind there. He's looking for the call there was Kashik, but he didn't get it.
Well, you can see the pressure brought by 27 Martin initially off the short side, forcing Will Finch out on that replay. And, you know, great ability by 27 from McMaster to get in the backfield, but then as well, great ability by Will Finch, showing his athleticism to avoid that rush and get outside and run into the end zone for a touchdown. Two good individual efforts, one just a little bit better than the other, which results in the touchdown. And here you have coaches trying to design the perfect play, and forget the perfect play. It came down to the individual athletes showing their athleticism.
All right, we'll take a look at the OUA Players of the Week here. This week's Pioneer Energy Athletes of the Week are Niran Shivanathan and Lauren McEwen. Shivanathan is a second-year life sciences major from the University of Toronto who scored 2 goals, including the game winner, to lead the Toronto Varsity Blues men's soccer team to a 3-0 upset win over number 3 ranked Ryerson on Saturday. The Brampton, Ontario native scored the opening goal in the 19th minute and would add another in the 64th to make it 3-0. McEwen is a 4th-year veteran from Queen's University who accumulated 24 points on 2 tries and 7 conversions as Queens thumped Trent 74-10 in women's rugby. Not only did she help her team to victory, she became the Gales' all-time leading scorer for women's rugby with 164 points. In just 4 games this year, she has the OUA lead in tries with 8, conversions with 21, and points with 88. Those are your OUA Athletes of the Week, brought to you by Pioneer.
Well, it's certainly a reminder to the varied sports played at the university level and what great experiences for these young men and women who come to university across Ontario, participate in athletics in a number of sports, and congratulations to those 2 individuals.
Back on the field. McMaster has a 2nd and 5 from their own 25. Ferguson back to pass. He's got a man wide open. Vandervoort's got space, a lot of space, and he'll get down to the 42. A big gain of 17 on the play.
Well, certainly a mix-up in the coverage. Maybe perhaps the 2 defenders for Western were on the same McMaster receiver and could not get outside to the man underneath, and he was wide open, and a very successful gain for a first down.
Possibly one more play after this one. This could be the final play of the first quarter. Probably one more after this, though. Under 14 to go. It's a handoff, and there's nowhere to go. Moore will gain about 3 yards, maybe 2 yards.
Well, there you see what we alluded to earlier in the telecast, and that is the defensive line for Western holding up front, making sure that the yards gained is limited.
Last play of the first quarter upcoming. The clock's hit 0, which means this is the last play. See what Matt can do on the final play of the first quarter. 2nd and 8. Ferguson throws it. It's a good pass, but it's Vandervoort short of the first down marker by about a yard. So when we come back from the break, McMaster might have a big decision to make. It's 3rd and 1 coming up on Mustangs TV.
What do I like best about Brescia? I love the light. The values here are my values: compassion,
creativity, empowerment.
I love it that we're all from different places, different backgrounds, and we're all women.
The campus is gorgeous, and there's something going on 24/7.
That's easy. Dr. Garcia. I wouldn't be headed to grad school if she hadn't inspired me to follow my dream from day one.
Brescia's got a deep-rooted history going back nearly 100 years, and yet what I'm studying is right on the edge.
For me, it's always been about my Brescia family.
I came to Brescia to discover my strengths.
The new residence is where my friends and I hang out and recharge.
In 2 minutes, I can cross the street and go from this intimate campus where I know everybody to one of the busiest universities in Canada.
I love living at Brescia and working out at Western.
These students, their passion for learning, their curiosity about the world, I learn from them every day.
I sleep well, I eat well, and I've never wanted to work so hard.
Studying at Brescia has given me the space to find myself and my voice.
What'll be your favorite thing about Brescia? Come and find out.
Doing a fake punt here, and it's going to be incomplete, but a flag flies, and they're going to call pass interference, I believe. They went for the fake punt on 3rd and 3. Carpina, he was going for the pass. It looked decent to Amonqua, but he was pushed on the play, and a penalty flies.
Well, it was a perfect time to throw a fake in. As their midfield, they just switched quarters. They had the wind behind them, so good decision by McMaster to fake it. And then, interestingly or sadly, Western actually had great coverage on the play. And if the defender had simply turned around, he would have knocked the ball. But he pushed the defender, and we get a pass interference call.
On the play, I believe, Matt Uren flew in and did a flip over another Western player trying to stop the play, and he's down on the sideline. A number of offensive players that are key to this attack have gone down today.
Well, he's right on the sideline, so I believe the stoppage in play has to happen because until he's moved away, they're in danger there.
Take another look at the fake punt. Carpina made it pretty clear very quick. He pump faked, went deep, and you can see, watch from the side of the screen flying in Uren. There he is. And
right.
He goes airborne, and look at him land awkwardly.
He did, and honestly, when you look at the replay, Calvin Johnson, an experienced defensive back, probably panicked a bit. If he simply turned around and tried to locate the football, he might have been able to knock it down.
You got to realize it's a kicker throwing the ball, not a quarterback, so it's a different kind of pass. The handoff is to Pizzetta, and he's driven back after a gain of only a couple.
Great play by Ryan Northfield, defensive end for Western, number 42. Strung the play out, was not blocked successfully by McMaster, and then made a great tackle.
We have an update on Matt Uren with John Urban.
Thanks once again, Christian. As you're seeing on the sidelines, Matt Uren is having his left knee attended to. He had no weight, and I mean absolutely no weight put on either leg as he was being carried off to the table. This could be bad, but we did see something similar to this last week in Waterloo with Garrett Sanvito going down. It looked like it was really serious and it ended up just being a sprain, and he's in the game today. So you never know with the sport of football. Nigel?
What a catch there by Max Cameron on a bit of a wheel route, and it's a big gain for McMaster.
Well, that's 2 plays in a row for Western's defense. They're running the wheel route, McMaster is, and Marshall Ferguson throws it up high and outside. Good ball location. But honestly, the coverage is right there, and the defender, Josh Woodman, is right in the grill of the McMaster receiver. If he turns and tries to find the ball, he gets it. But that's 2 in a row. Good focus and concentration by McMaster.
A 28-yard gain. A fake handoff, Ferguson, a little dump out. And a good little gain there for Declan Cross. And they get to the 9.
Well, trying to slip him out of the backfield again. They showed that play earlier where he was successful. The half, Malcolm Brown was up and was sort of coming either on a blitz or trying to pick him up, and then continued on his rush to the quarterback, and that's when they dumped the ball off. So they returned to a play from the first quarter that was successful earlier.
2nd down and 4. McMaster pressing again. They try to maybe take the lead with a touchdown here. Big 2nd down. Ferguson looking end zone. A lot of contact in the corner, and it is going to be caught for a touchdown by Daniel Vandervoort.
Well, great concentration by the McMaster receiver and a great throw by Marshall Ferguson. He put it in a perfect location, and when you watch the play, you see that once again Western had coverage, but Daniel Vandervoort makes a great catch under pressure. And on the last 2 plays, give credit to McMaster receivers, their concentration, their ability to hold on to the football when Western defenders are right in their face. And when you look here, there's Calvin Johnson trying to knock it down, not successful. However, Vandervoort holds on to the football. Great drive after the fake punt.
The point extra to make it 12-11 for McMaster. Vandervoort, a lot of potential contact on that play. It looked like he may have caught it with one hand, a nice basket catch. And McMaster has proven that they have an offense too that can drive down the field, and we've got ourselves a game.
Well, their receivers can really catch the football, and Marshall Ferguson is putting the football in a place where the receiver has a chance, and if you put it in a place and good receivers come up, then that's a successful formula for moving the football down the field and scoring.
So McMaster gets their first touchdown of the day, and we'll see what Western's offense, who seem to be losing parts on every drive, see what they can answer with. The rushing attack looked very good on their last time down the field. A victim of a fake punt, and it leads to a touchdown on the drive. Krapina will kick it off from the 45. Shaquille Johnson back to receive. And he will field it at the Western 6. Johnson looking for some space. Johnson is harassed, and he'll go down at the 20. Not a big gain there on the return.
No, good kick, getting the Shaquille Johnson deep 6-yard line, but then even better coverage by the McMaster kickoff coverage team, not allowing him past the 20-yard line.
John Urban's been a busy boy today. John, what do you got now?
Yes, I definitely have, and you know what? That's not normally a good thing, Christian, because that means the injury bug has hit us. As you see behind me, Matt Uren getting his left knee iced right now. He was shaking his head. I think he's doubtful for the rest of this game. That's a safe thing to say. This very well could be a Yates Cup rematch, or a Yates Cup final, I should say, a preview of it. There has never been a Yates Cup not featuring Western or McMaster since 2006.
A big gain by Will Finch. He's knocked out of bounds late on the play, and they're going to throw a flag right in front of the McMaster bench. And I'm not sure that was a late hit. It looked to me initially that it was fine.
Well, I think what happened, I mean, what a great play by Will Finch running that zone option read. And he pulls the ball out himself after faking it to the running back, turns up the field, and then very successful in terms of running down the field. Capito makes a good tackle and then hits him right on the yard line. And, you know, it really is a tough call against Capito because he's in a position, he's just making the hit. It's right on the sideline, and that's a discretionary call by the official. I know he has to protect players, so you can see it both ways, but you can't really fault Capito.
Another flag. Might have just been dropped.
No, this looks like it's probably from the bench. McMaster.
McMaster, 10-yard penalty.
There you go.
First
See,
down.
they're upset over the last call, and there they are, someone on the sidelines there yelling at the officials, and that's a no-no. Even if you disagree with the call, you have to, you know, sort of, easy for me to say it, I'm up here behind the glass, protected, not chatting, not part of the game fire that those coaches are under, so, but they need better discipline. That just moves the ball and hurts your own defense.
George Johnson back on the field. The handoff to Garrett Sanvito. Sanvito, following his blockers, gets all the way down to the 20-yard line.
Well, nice play. Initial play up front around the right-hand side of Western's offense. Offensive line there doing a great job. Kadeem Adams and Sean Jamison opening up some holes, and then some good downfield blocking by the receivers.
One play plus a bunch of penalties and then another gain, and all of a sudden Western is down to the 15. Marshall slips out of bounds. There is a flag down.
Tommy Marshall slipping out of the backfield into the short side flats, gets the ball. McMaster came after Will with a bit of pressure. It was well picked up.
We'll take a look at the call here.
Offensive pass interference. Western, 15-yard penalty. It remains first down.
And now Western gets charged with a big penalty, and that'll push them back 15. Watch this play. Who was busy blocking early? Hard to tell from that angle.
I think what the replay, if you'd watched Shaquille Johnson, the wide receiver, he came down and actually picked one of the receivers that was trying to cover Tommy Marshall, and I think it was called on the illegal pick.
Marshall, no, sorry. That's going for Sinclair over the middle. And it's incomplete.
Sorry, Christian, a really nice route by Adam Sinclair, playing for Matt Uren there and running an in route about just at the right depth for the first down. Will Finch throws a strike. Adam unable to hold on to the ball.
Now it's second and long. The 35-yard line. Western on the fringe of field goal territory at the moment, as they trail by one here early in the second quarter. Finch back to pass. There's a quick slant. Shaquille Johnson, he's got a first down, but he's dropped the ball. It's picked up. No, they're going to say he's down by contact. Head linesman Mark Cobb runs in and immediately signals that he was down by contact.
Well, a heads-up play by Brian Marshall in the area, picking the ball up and running with it just in case it hadn't been blown dead. Great play. In terms of getting the ball downfield, they regained some of the yards lost from the penalty, and now they're setting up for their field goal.
So Zach Medeiros out on the field. He is 7 of 10 on the season. 39 yards was his long. This will be a 26-yard attempt. That is good. So Western will be back on top. They are up 14-12.
Well, all sorts of interesting things happening in this game and on both sides of the ball, on both teams. And there you see the offense move down the field, be successful, and then penalties hurt teams, individual plays by people making wrong decisions, and then conversely, individuals make great plays that help. So you see it bouncing out here in the game so far.
Well, Western had a great first down run from Will Finch to start that drive, and then immediately 25 extra yards from penalties, but they gave 15 of those back, and in the end they kick a field goal.
Exactly, and when you put that all together in a game plan and watch the ebb and flow of the offense and the defense, it's the penalties that really hurt drives, it's the penalties that stop momentum, and it's also the penalties that change momentum. And from a coaching perspective, I'm sure at McMaster and at Western, that's one thing they want to avoid.
Take a look at the slant route from Shaquille Johnson. Take a look, was he down by contact on the play? I'm not sure he was.
Well, that's the beauty of having the replay. He certainly was not down, as you saw the tackler come in, knock the ball loose, but it's tough for the official from the angle, and the ball was whistled dead.
Ferguson, he hands it off. What a strong run. Still going. Wow, what a run by Wayne Moore up to the 53.
Well, that's just power football there. The running back took the handoff. He was met at the line by the person you want him to meet. That is your middle linebacker. And give credit to McMaster. The running back destroyed the middle linebacker and just got a great first down. That's power football.
First down. Are they going to go back to it again? Moore's going to try again, and Moore's still going. Wayne Moore putting on a rushing clinic here in the first couple plays of this drive.
Well, excellent power again by Moore, showing that you better not tackle this guy up too high. He'll just run you over, and you're going to have to get into his legs to bring him down. And now, great play call for the McMaster Marauders here on 2nd and short. Gives them a lot of options.
I think he would probably be wise just to go right back to the rushing game. Under center, Ferguson goes, and Ferguson is going to give it to Moore, who's taken down in the backfield by Daryl Wadd.
Well, the way that play began was rather puzzling. It looked like they were going to fake the run, just because of the slow developing nature of that handoff. And before you knew it, number 99, Daryl Wadd, was in the backfield and made the tackle and taking what should have been a relatively good chance at a first down, now into a 3rd and 5, forcing McMaster to punt the ball. So huge play by Daryl Wadd.
A loss of 5 on the play. A good kick by Carpina. Fielded at the 10. And down to the 20 they get to. And a lot of these drives are starting from about the 20. And we'll take another look at the Wadd stop on the play. He only needed a couple yards, but he read it right away. They overstacked the defensive line on the play and were burst right through the O-line for McMaster.
Right, definitely a missed assignment up front from the McMaster offensive line. Daryl Wadd could have actually taken the handoff. He was in right away. Great awareness on his part to take advantage of that miscue.
And now Western will start. It's Finch keeping it. Finch to the outside. Will Finch down to the 29-yard line. You scoffed there.
Well, a great play by Will Finch in terms of making the right read, getting the ball outside, and then turning upfield. And really, there's only Will Finch and the receiver and a defender on the boundary side. And you had Shaquille Johnson trying to make the block on Capito for McMaster. And if you watch the replay, Capito is able to beat the block, get inside, and make the tackle into Will's legs. And
Shaquille Johnson wasn't able to hold the block.
No, he wasn't. He's against a veteran player there. Capito, excellent defense.
2nd down, and getting just enough, it looked like.
This will be interesting where the spot of the football is.
And it's Peru running forward just enough. Got 3 yards to get the first down for Western.
Tough running inside by Yannick and able to secure the first down. Western marching the ball on the ground at this particular moment.
Yeah, the rushing game has really been what's worked so far today. And it's no surprise they're the top rushing team in the nation. But this time they're going to throw it. Finch going deep. There's a lot of air under that ball, and it is caught by Adam Sinclair. What a catch.
Outstanding catch, and I'm sure Adam Sinclair is feeling a little bit better. He had a great throw last time running that in route from Will Finch, who threw it the only place he could, low, and Adam did not secure it. This time, you have to take a look at the throw by Will Finch. He gets a lot of height on the ball, allowing Adam time to get underneath it and get to the football. Great concentration.
Laid out for a 38-yard gain on that play, and on first down, Haru rushes for about 3.
Well, again, number 77, Kashak, makes a great play, able to get underneath the block and almost trip him up in the backfield.
Still a decent gain. 2nd down and 7. Finch will roll out, plants, steps up, and he will be taken down to the ground. And this time, it's Scott Martin with the sack.
Well, when you're upstairs here watching the game, it seems relatively easy to see what's going on, and it's a different view perspective that Will Finch has. I think he could have stayed in the pocket there a little bit longer. He sort of creeps up, and keeps creeping. I think if he had stayed in the pocket a little longer, trusted that pocket to hold, he had a chance to throw the ball. But once the quarterback starts creeping up, the offensive linemen lose their leverage points on the position that they're trying to protect, and defenders come off and are able to make the tackle.
A chance for a single point potentially here for Western as they're punting inside MAC territory. Medeiros. He's going to try to pin him, though. And this is a good kick. Out of bounds, and they will spot it at the, we wait, 14-yard line. A good punt from Western, and they will see McMaster starting deep in their own end. We'll be back with more action from TD Waterhouse Stadium in just a moment.
Someday your life will flash before your eyes. Make it worth watching. The all-new Lexus LSF Sport. An entirely new pursuit.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns, all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all three.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
That's a dangerous throw, and oh, that one was just about intercepted by Calvin Johnson.
Well, there's Marshall Ferguson's perhaps first error of the game in terms of trying to put the ball where he should not have put it in. Western had great coverage. Calvin Johnson underneath had a perfect vision on the football and perhaps should have intercepted it. Credit to McMaster receiver coming back there, number 11, knocking the ball away.
O'Connor came back. It almost looked like it was through Johnson's hands before he came back, though. Johnson sitting there waiting for the ball. Is thrown almost right to him. 2nd down and 10. Ferguson, pressure coming, throws it over the middle. It's caught, but it's going to be close, and I don't know if he got enough for a first down there.
Great play by Marshall Ferguson. He had Huggins right in from his middle linebacker position on him and stood in the pocket, threw an excellent pass, which is caught, and now they're, looking at 3rd and 1 decision time here.
Now they've taken safeties in similar circumstances already in this game. They punted when they were punting from the 19 and from the 20. They took safeties. This one's from the 22-yard line. And I know we've seen it twice already. You don't want to surrender points, but I'd say you should kick this one away. And they're going to. Crapina gets it to about midfield. It's taken there by Sanvito. Justin Sanvito gets it to about the 41 before he's brought down, and Western will have nice field position to start this drive.
Great field position. Justin Sanvito fielding the punt and doing what you want punt returns to do. Run north-south, go straight up the field. Excellent reception by Justin, and even a better run after getting yards after the punt.
So after that nice punt from Medeiros, they pretty much get the ball back exactly from where they punted from the 40-yard line. It's almost like they didn't miss a beat. They do the double reverse. Brian Marshall, a huge block there, and Brian Marshall will get to the 30-yard line. What a block on that play from Eddie Meredith.
Eddie Medeiros coming back from his left tackle position really caught the McMaster player unaware, and it was a great play on the reverse to Brian Marshall.
Just lit him up.
And Brian successful in getting the 10 yards on the first down.
A little bit of a deceiving play there. Finch gives it Sanvito up to the 25. And a good start to this drive for Western.
Well, the offensive line is moving bodies away. They get 5 yards on the first down, and now Western is looking at a 2nd and 5.
The rushing game is proving to be a huge factor today for Western. Both teams really have had good success running the ball. Finch, he'll keep it, he'll throw it, and it's dropped. Shaquille Johnson dropped it. He was open at the 12.
Great play call. They really set that play up well, and Capito, the boundary corner, was deep, well off Shaquille. Linebackers came up thinking it was a run, so there's a huge hole in the middle. Shaquille turns, hooks up in, and simply drops the ball.
Is that one of those started running with it before he had it situations?
Well, it's one that's too easy. You see where his eyes are when the ball comes into his hands. They're not on the football, and fundamentals, catching the football, unless you have them, it's going to hurt you.
32-yard field goal attempt now from Medeiros. And Medeiros' kick is good. So that makes it a 17-12 game. Western keeps the lead and grows it a bit. Only one touchdown for each team today, and then a number of other field goals and safeties to get them to where they are.
Well, the one theme that's become evident in this game is the mistakes made by individual people on both sides of the football. And you see it on the penalties, you see it on plays where you should make a catch, plays where you should make an interception, and you don't, and it ultimately hurts your team. And it's certainly signifying some differences in this football game.
So McMaster from their own 35 will start down by 5. Ferguson's going to go deep on first down, and it is almost intercepted. It was intended for Max Cameron. Very well defended on the play.
Well, I'll repeat myself again, Christian. Here's another example of Marshall Ferguson throwing the ball up. Maybe he feels confident that Cameron's going to come down with it, but honestly, Simon Baru had great coverage on the play. I don't think the ball should have gone there, and Simon had an excellent chance, but again, it was Cameron who came back and knocked the ball out of Simon's hands. Good play by the McMaster receiver to prevent the interception.
Ball was underthrown. We've seen a number of those today from Ferguson. The deep balls haven't quite been there. Ferguson, he's going to try it again, though, on second down. And that was a lot of contact, but no call. They say it's good coverage, and Western forces a 2-and-out.
Well, I think I'm glad this play happened in front of the Western bench, because when you watch number 21, Calvin Johnson, he got turned around. He showed good speed getting back to the defender, to the receiver, but he didn't turn and look for the football. He got his arm in there, knocked it. It really was contact, and fortunately for Western, they were not called. But you see here as the ball comes in, he's not even looking at the football, and he's all over the McMaster receiver.
A good punt from Capina, and this is Justin Zanvito returning it, and he'll get to about the 31-yard line. Western maybe gets away with a defensive penalty on the last drive. And on this punt, they're maybe lucky that it wasn't dropped, because the two returners pretty much ran into each other there, Haru and Sanvito.
Absolutely, they did. And Matt Uren, one of the normal punt returners, is not back there. You have Justin Sanvito and Yannick having a little bit of difficulty with the communication. But that's true on any segment of the football field. Communication is the key, not only in football, but in life.
Well said. A handoff here. It's Sinclair who gets up to the 43. He fumbled the ball, it looks like, but Western got back on top of it. Sinclair, whenever he touches the ball, it seems to be big yards for Western.
He's a gifted athlete, a gifted running back. He's playing for the injured Matt Uren. He comes in, takes the ball, hits upfield nice. He's got great feet and gets down the field.
First down and 10 for Western. Finch back to pass. Gives it out. This is Shaquille Johnson, who holds on and gets it to the 53. We have an update on the sideline with John Urban.
Thanks once again, Christian. You guys were just commenting on Matt Uren, the London, Ontario native. The St. Thomas Aquinas product is now being replaced by Adam Sinclair. He's from London too, and a Mother Teresa Spartan product. So those two used to battle it out in their high school days. Now they're lucky to have each other as teammates to pick each other up. Uren does have his knee heavily iced right now, and as you can see on the sideline, he is wearing a jacket. Chances are the St. Thomas Aquinas native has seen his time set today.
2nd and 1 for Western, and they bring in the big boys for this one. They only need a yard. They bring in Maj, they bring in Wad. You know exactly what they're doing here. Or do ya? It's a fake. Oh, and Finch will go down, and just a complete disaster on the play from Western.
Well, I have no problem with the call. A great time to make a call like that. Obviously, the execution is something that didn't happen the way Western would have wanted it, and I think the quarterback in that position should know, and a veteran quarterback has got to make a decision. If you're running the fake, as they are, and he sets up, and suddenly they were trying to hit Darryl Wadd, who got hung up on the line and did not release, then the quarterback has got to know that I should just throw the football away, because that's going to give me a 3rd and short. And he tried to make a big play, and it didn't happen.
Medeiros with the kick, fielded at the 36. And McMaster will start from the 42-yard line after the 3-minute warning. Here in London from TD Waterhouse Stadium, it's 17-12. The Western Mustangs lead on Mustangs TV.
Lone Star believes that tortillas should be the rodeo star, not the sideshow clown. Gotta be baked fresh, so they wrap around toppings like a warm hug from your mama. That's why Lone Star bakes those blankets of heaven in each restaurant with their own special oven. They ain't reheated in no microwave. So if that much goes into making their tortillas taste so good, imagine what goes into the rest of the fajita. Lone Star, the taste is in the details.
New improved Powerade Ion 4 replenishes fuel and 4 of the minerals lost in sweat. Powerade Ion 4 hydrates better than water. Keep sweating.
TD Waterhouse Stadium. We've got 2:40 left on the clock here in the first half. McMaster trying to put some more points on the board as we head into the break. They start from the 41, some of the best field position they've had all day to start the drive. It's a pitch. Vanderweerd doesn't get much though. He pretty much gets back to the line of scrimmage, and a good job by Wad and Osikusi to stop that one right in its tracks.
Well, the front defensive line for Western doing what they're supposed to be doing, shutting down that play. Darryl Watt stringing it out, making the tackle with help from Ricky.
And that puts them into a 2nd and long situation, and the long passes so far today have not worked for McMaster. Ferguson's throws have been a little off. Going deep. Ferguson over the middle. It's caught. It's O'Connor, and O'Connor's to midfield for a first down.
Well, they just brought the receiver across the field, and the coverage was a little bit off with number 6 trying to stay with him for Western there, and wasn't able to keep up with him. He turns up the field, and Simon Baru had to come up and make a tackle there.
They had Rossi covering O'Connor, and he couldn't keep up with him. Linebacker on the slot back. First down from just about midfield for McMaster. They go under center, and it's a handoff to Moore, and Moore's got some space, and he gets up to Western's 47.
Well, it's 2 plays in a row. McMaster has sort of gone after the will linebacker position for Western. The first play, they put a faster receiver on him. He was able to beat him that time. They allowed him to penetrate upfield, and he penetrated too far, and the ball went inside him. And they got 8-9 yards on the play.
With the exception of that second and short stop when Moore was stopped in the backfield, he's been getting big chunks of yards when he gets the ball here, and we'll see if they go back to him. And they do, and Moore plows into the line, and he will be stopped, the forward progress at the 45, but it is enough for a first down.
Right, a very tough 1 yard. He was able to hit in there and get the yard. They're moving the chains, and that's what you're supposed to do. It doesn't matter if you get it by an inch or if you get it by 5. What matters is the chains are moving, and McMaster's looking at another first down with 1:33. This is going to be a big defensive stand or a great offensive push by McMaster here.
Under a minute and a half to go in the first half of play. It's been a bit of a grind. Western leads by 5. Ferguson pitches it out to Moore. Moore going outside. Moore is tackled at the line of scrimmage. And who else but Darryl Wadd?
Darryl Wadd is playing tremendous on that defensive line, ranging from his defensive tackle position both directions. Here he is going to the wide side of the field. Ricky Osikusi penetrated, felt that he was held, and was able to bounce, forcing McMaster to take it perhaps a little wider than they wanted, but sure enough, Darryl Wadd tearing down the line, not blocked very well, made a great tackle.
And another 2nd and 10 coming up from the 45. Certainly 3-down territory here for McMaster as they try to push down the field. And we've got a timeout called by McMaster. They're going to talk about this. It's a big play coming up. 53 seconds left in the first half of play. Elsewhere in Ontario, there's a few other big games. The biggest one is Guelph against Windsor, and Guelph at the half leads 18-2 in that one. Elsewhere, Carleton at halftime up 37-10 against Toronto. Carleton had that big win over Ottawa, but then last week in Laurier, I don't know what happened, but they didn't show up.
Well, they might have shown up, and so perhaps give credit to Laurier. They could have put together a great game plan, executed it well, and really, credit to the Laurier coaching staff and players for playing so well against Carleton, who had come off such a great win the week before. But head coach Michael Falls obviously got the Hawks ready to play, and they did a great job.
One of the best running backs in the country. And maybe you're right, Carleton maybe coming off an emotional high against Ottawa. Bit of a letdown last week against Laurier, who are only up 10-7 against York at home at the half, though. So it's a bit of an odd day in the OUA. 2nd and 10. Ferguson over the middle. Caught. Vandervoort still going. Vandervoort inside the 15, down to the 13. A huge gain for McMaster.
Well, there's the roll of the dice between an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator calls an all-out blitz, puts his defensive secondary in man coverage, and McMaster here calls a play. Marshall Ferguson reads the blitz, get rid of it early, and it was just one-on-one coverage, and he was successfully beat Trevor Lass, the safety, filling in for starter Jesse McNair.
32-yard gain on the play, gets them inside the red zone with half a minute to go. Ferguson looking for the end zone. It is caught but out of bounds by Max Cameron. The throw led him there, and there was really no chance for Cameron to catch that, and a good job by the defender to knock him out of there.
Right, you have Simon Baru and Malcolm Brown over there, and I believe it was Malcolm Brown who got over there and was able to prevent the receiver from coming down in bounds. I'm not sure if the receiver's own momentum would have allowed him to come down in bounds, and I think that's how the official probably ruled it. Otherwise, if the official had felt that he'd come down in bounds, he might have given him the touchdown.
Brown with a huge shove to make sure he had no chance of coming down in bounds. And now second down. Ferguson going end zone again. No, this one's short of the end zone. Didn't matter. It's incomplete. Good job again. The defense bends but doesn't break on the play.
No, great play by Josh Woodman, the field half. He really closed well on the football and was able to successfully knock it away. And one thing, I haven't seen the replay, but I think the McMaster receiver almost looked like he was waiting for the ball and his feet weren't moving. And as a result, if you see him there and the Western defender's feet were moving coming to the ball, you never want your feet to stop. You got to get back to that football.
And this could be history. Tyler Krapina going for the OUA record for field goals in a career. This would be his 78th if it is good, and it is. Tyler Krapina, the new OUA all-time field goal record holder. And it makes the game a 2-point contest with 16 seconds left. Congratulations, Tyler Krapina, breaking a record that wasn't held for very long by Western's Liram Hairolahu.
Great job by the young man, Tyler Krapina, and congratulations to him and his team for securing that record. Congratulations to the three-man team as well as the blockers, but really the snapper, the holder, and the kicker to successfully go into the record books.
Snapper and holder only get noticed if they don't do their job.
Always.
The unsung work of the special teams unit. And now Western with 16 seconds left. How aggressive do you want to be here? Not too much time left, and they'll play it safe. They'll just hand it off. Yannick Carew up the middle gets about 10 yards on the play. It's a nice gash. But if they want to, they can afford. No, they're going to call a timeout, so maybe they will take a shot to get into field goal range here.
Well, why not? You do have time. You have the ability to have a hurry-up offense in. This is the Canadian game. You do have time in terms of working the clock. You get a lot more plays because of your ability to let the clock stops after each play, has to be put down, etc. So there are some advantages to not having the clock continually running. Second and short here. We know what happened the last time that Western was in second and short. Will Finch sort of got caught trying to make a big play out of something that he should have just thrown the football away and given Western a third and short. The end result of that decision was McMaster getting the ball and moving down in for that field goal. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach Marshall does here on the second and short, whether or not they just say, you know what, we'll just run the clock out, we'll go into halftime with a 2-point lead and see if we can clear up the errors.
And Western will get the ball to start the second half. They deferred the decision until the second half. They got 12.5 on the clock. And they're going to throw it. It's an out route to Shaquille Johnson, who gets up to the 53, and there's 7 seconds left now. They got the first down. Now there's still time.
Oh, there's plenty of time to throw the ball down the field, immediately call a timeout, and get your field goal team on. So
now the dangerous thing about the Canadian game is if it misses, there's always a chance for the run back. They attempt a very deep one. This is Sanvito. He's running for the sideline, and he's pushed out at the 53 of McMaster with 1.2 on the clock, so there's no time to kick a field goal now.
No, that changes the decision, so either they lay one up and try to score a long one or take a knee.
Now, there's no real harm necessarily in taking a shot deep, but the pressure's been good so far today on Will Finch. They're going to try it. Over the middle, it is caught by St. Clair at the 36. Maybe if there was some time left, they could go for a deep field goal, but there isn't any time left on the clock. That's it for the first half of play. A tough defensive grind. Teams bending but not breaking. 1 touchdown each. Some field goals, some safeties, and Western leads 17-15.
Well, an exciting first half of football, too, showing both teams prepared to play each other, prepared to battle it out, and the score certainly indicates how even it is.
We go to the sideline with John Urban with Coach Marshall.
Thanks, guys. Here with Greg Marshall. Your team is up by 2 heading to the locker room, but I got to ask you this question. Last week, you're facing a team that didn't have a win on the record. This week, you're facing a team that's undefeated. How do you mentally prepare your team for such a change?
No, it's another game. You know, it's a game in the regular season that, you know, we're coming out here trying to win. You know, Mac's a good football team. We played in big games before. This isn't, you know, our first go-around of this.
69-3 was the score last week against Waterloo, and you were able to accomplish that with a lot of your bench players. How much of that plays a factor into this game as you are starting to lose some of your starters here?
Well, you know, that's one thing that concerns me is that, you know, the injuries that we've had. It's been really unfortunate, you know, and, you know, it's difficult. The other guys are going to have to step up. Right now, I just kind of feel for some of the guys on our team that are hurt.
Before I let you go, I actually seen you talking with Matt Uren on the sidelines. You're a former player yourself. Can you don any of the wisdom or things that you bestowed
upon him?
No,
you know what? I just, just hope that he's okay and to make sure that he's all right and that, he'll be back. And, might be a week or two, but he'll be fine. He'll be back.
Coach Marshall, best of luck in the second half. Guys.
Thanks, John. At the half, Western has a 2-point lead. And it's been a good one, and the second half should be a very entertaining affair. The second half begins in about 13 minutes' time here on Mustangs TV.
It's game day. Today, tomorrow, every day. And game face is our only face. We're not normal. Normal doesn't run everywhere or take a stopwatch to everything. Normal doesn't dedicate itself to never letting its customers down. Not a single one. Never, ever, ever. Normal doesn't live to beat the rush. Obsessed about out-the-door times? That's not normal. Counting pepperoni in your sleep? Not normal. Normal is average. Normal is ordinary. Normal is what people expect. Normal doesn't have pizza sauce flowing through its veins. The other guy is normal. That's why no one delivers like we do.
After the final ball has flown, and the final catch made, and the last screaming fan has left the stadium, the ball is passed from one team member to the next so the players can sign their names. But of all the names, there is one on that ball that is perhaps the most important. That name is Wilson. Good luck this season.
Time. It lets us plan to dream, plan to learn, plan to succeed, plan to invest, plan to enjoy, plan to help, plan to leave to others. The Plan by Investors Group, helping you provide for the people you care about, now and over time.
Going to your first ever Vanier Cup? Well, it's pretty exciting, I think it's obviously the thing that every university player in Canada dreams about. That's what we're playing for.
Dwayne Ford shined on the campus from 1987 to 1990. During his time at Western, the Purple and White would only lose one regular season game. He was selected twice as the Mustangs' most valuable player and co-captained the 1989 squad, which would go on to capture the Vanier Cup. After playing in the CIS, Dwayne would go on to play 12 seasons in the CFL, a career which included a consecutive game streak of 150 contests spanning over 8 seasons.
Scoring some points, Ford barrels his way, breaking tackle after tackle, and still tackle after tackle. He's still on his feet. Ford down to the 10-yard line.
Playing for Hamilton, Toronto, Winnipeg, and Calgary, the team he started with and would captain for 4 years. He would make 5 appearances in the Grey Cup, winning the championship twice. In 2008, things would come full circle as he started working with TSN.
Hello, football fans, particularly Canadian football fans. I'm Rod Black. Welcome to Dwayne Ford's Canadians. This would be Dwayne Ford.
Being a color commentator for games and a CFL analyst, getting to talk about a sport in which he was truly successful at in all levels. For all of his accomplishments, he's been inducted into the Mississauga Hall of Fame. Dwayne Ford is a Mustang to remember.
After arriving at Western in the 1950s, Frank Cosentino quickly became one of the greatest players in Mustang football history. As team captain and quarterback, Cosentino helped the Mustangs make history in 1959, when the Mustangs defeated the Toronto Varsity Blues to win the first ever Canadian Intercollegiate Football Championship. After finishing his playing days in the purple and white, Cosentino joined the professional ranks, playing for his hometown Hamilton Tiger Cats for 6 years, including helping the Ticats advance to 2 Grey Cup championship games. Cosentino would then be traded to Edmonton in 1967 and in 1969 to Toronto, returning to Western in 1970 to take over as head coach from John Metris. Just as in his playing days, Cosentino became one of the most successful coaches in program history, winning 2 national championships and helping revitalize the team in his 5 seasons behind the bench. Upon leaving Western, Cosentino moved to the University of Toronto, where he served as professor and chair of physical education and athletics. He joined York University in the 1980s before retiring in 1997. Along with all his accomplishments on the gridiron and in the classroom, Cosentino is one of Canada's foremost authors in Canadian sports history, writing numerous books covering everything from football to Olympics. Frank Cosentino, a Mustang legend.
Historically, people have come to Western for a host of reasons. But in the end, it's always about becoming more. Our students, faculty, staff, and alumni have been in a perpetual state of transformation and growth since the founding of our school in 1878.
I came to Western to be challenged.
To become a force for change.
To discover new things.
I wanted to make business a real part of society.
I wanted to be a professional football player.
I was looking forward to being a top-level neuroscientist studying music with access to facilities that are available here and not anywhere else in the world.
I wanted to be one of the few graduates of a dual degree program with engineering and law.
I wanted to be both a physician as well as a researcher.
I wanted to build a group of students and researchers that would really be the leaders of tomorrow.
I wanted to be an engineer, but I wanted to be a terrific engineer.
I came to learn. I came to have some fun. I came to make myself a better person.
I wanted to be someone who really makes the most of life.
Our alumni who have done extraordinary things in Canada and throughout the world. Our brilliant researchers and faculty. And finally, our diverse and dynamic student body have all been shaped by the Western experience.
It's about coming to a place where you know you're going to learn and grow and really have a transformative experience and so much fun in the process.
I was just a little guy from Welland, Ontario. And when I got there, I found something that, I was the same as everybody else. And, I could learn from everybody else, and I could be part of a community that actually looked after everybody else. I felt that's what Western was all about.
One of the most fulfilling parts of my job is seeing the students coming in as raw students, as 18, a little afraid, a little nervous, and growing to be outstanding men and women and leaders in our community.
Western provided a really inclusive and supportive environment. The professors really wanted you to be the best that you could be.
Coming out with 2 degrees in 6 years is extraordinary.
I actually get to interact and work with patients from the hospital. The close collaboration between hospitals and the university at Western are really world-class.
Western University and the Rotman Institute in particular is truly extraordinary because it encourages and fosters collaborative relationships.
In the future, I'm really looking forward to where we can recruit even more top researchers, bringing them together and building bridges across the faculties. Western will become a world leader in neuroscience.
We want to bring these people who have already led space missions to other planets to help actually not just Western, but Canada to lead the next efforts in space.
What we do at Western is really build the leaders of tomorrow. We give them the tools, the skills, and the knowledge to do extraordinary things.
Our past successes, propelled by alumni gifts and support, show that Western can achieve the extraordinary. We must rise to the occasion. Western needs your support.
Western is inherently ambitious, and we know we have the potential to become one of the world's best universities.
We are a great university, but we want to become even better. We want to become globally recognized for all our activities.
Western needs to keep its competitive advantage, and that means driving our ambitions, driving our expectations, and all the help that we can get from our partners and our friends and our alumni will help us reach our ambitions of being one of the world's best universities.
So for me, it's pure and simple. We want to continue achieving greatness for Western. We have the potential to become one of the great universities of the world. That's why we're calling our campaign Be Extraordinary. It's time for all of us to get involved in the future of our university. Faculty, staff, students, and especially our alumni. So together, let's be extraordinary.
Am I extraordinary?
Extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Am I extraordinary?
Well, now that you mention it,
We all know how this thing ends. Now let's talk about what got me here. Maybe it was when I made my post move. Or maybe it was at the line of scrimmage when I fought my way free. Or maybe it was before the play even started. That's when I told myself, when the ball is in the air, nobody brings it down but me.
TD Waterhouse Stadium, where the Western Mustangs are clinging to a 2-point lead at the half. Alongside
it's game day.
It was the first half that saw Western dominate on the ground. They still decided to pass it and get cute a few times, and it really cost them with some losses on, especially that second down and one play that you noted late in the first half.
Well, when you look at the first half, it's, you analyze some of the decisions that the players are making, and that makes all the difference in the game. Both quarterbacks at times have made great decisions. At other times, they've made not so great decisions, and as a result, it sort of caused a bit of a problem for the total movement of both their offenses. Defensively, you've seen both teams have a number of good plays in terms of being there when they needed to be there. But really, it's the mistakes by the individuals.
Take a look at some of the first half highlights just before the second half begins. This was the touchdown run by Will Finch, a very nice run. Finch, very good with his legs, and that's really one of the big drawing points of his game. Finch ran for a touchdown, 4 rushes for 50 yards and a touchdown in the first half. We get to live action now. Shaquille Johnson didn't get much in that return. He's down to the 23-yard line. Shaquille Johnson hasn't had a lot of space to work today.
No, good kick coverage and deep kick, and now Western starts from their 23, 24-yard line.
In the first half, Will Finch, quite efficient passing, 11 of 15 for 150 yards. He also, like I said, ran 4 times for 50 and a touchdown. And they'll start from their own 23. Finch is going to scramble. He's got some space. He gets away. And he gets down to the 30-yard line, making something out of nothing on that play.
He certainly did. Showed great athletic ability. More than athletic ability, showed what a big man he is in terms of not, being pulled down by the sweater, and got the 7 yards. Good coverage by Mack downfield. Will could not find an open receiver.
5th rush of the game for Finch. And now it'll make second down a little more manageable. They're going to pass it. A wide open. Brian Marshall hit him right in the number, and Western's going to have to punt. Brian Marshall couldn't have had an easier pass to catch, and he couldn't handle it.
Well, we said it early in the first half. You have to take care of the football when it comes to you. Those are the things that kill drives, and it's basic fundamentals of catching a football. Keep your eyes on the ball and put it away, and that way you keep your team on the field.
Take another look. I mean, this hits him right in the chest. And now Medeiros will have to kick it 2 and out for Western. It's a good boot. Fielded at the 31. A good return by Mells. Mells all the way to the 47-yard line.
Great kick by Zach Medeiros, but really a great return by McMaster. Fields the ball, gets about 12, 15 yards on the return, and now they have pretty good field position to start their second half.
Isaiah Mells gives McMaster the start at the 47. Some pretty good field position. McMaster in the first half. Marshall Ferguson 15 of 25 for a touchdown, 180 yards. But he had about 4 passes that maybe could have, should have been intercepted. Ferguson, little dump off to Cross, and Cross will be brought down somewhat awkwardly down at Western's 52.
Well, again, they're able to get their backs, slip them out into the flats there, and they don't get picked up right away, and so it's an automatic 6-7 yards from McMaster. Then it's yards after the catch if he beats that one tackler.
Calvin Johnson got the initial contact on him, but he spun off it and gained an additional 4 yards to make this 2nd and 1. The handoff to Moore. Moore fights for it, and I don't know if he got it. Looks like the ref coming in from the far side is going to spot him just short of the first down. It seems like when it's first down, Moore will gash you for 9, but on these short 2nd and 1s, he's been stuffed nearly every time by this D-line that knows it's coming.
They do, and that play is just outstanding defensive play by Ricky Osikusi. He just stood up the blocker, able to push him back into the ball carrier and at least, not give ground so that the second and short becomes even more difficult for McMaster. But Ricky Osikusi as well as Daryl Watt have been playing a heck of a football game, and you have two great athletes there with terrific size and strength.
And you can see the measurement, it's just short. It'll be third and maybe half a yard, but they're in Western territory, so there's
Easy
no
decision.
doubt they're going to go for this.
Easy decision, and he's got options on third and short, and they're in the middle of the field, so he can take risks. So defensively, you have to be prepared for both.
They just had a 2nd and 1 and didn't get enough yards. So we'll see what they do on 3rd and inches here. Will they go for the QB sneak? Oh, they go a little bit of a toss back, fake play, and Cross has some space. And he's brought down at the 40, potentially a touchdown saving tackle there. The Statue of Liberty play gets them down to the 40 on 3rd and inches.
Well, it was an interesting play call, a bit of a risk. Great stretch of the play on the right side by Western. And if they had a fill position on the outside, they would have been successful in stopping them.
Cross was knocked back a little bit by the DN, but he got outside it and got a nice gain for the 1st down. Fake handoff, they throw it out, and just plowed over. Peterman had nowhere to go.
Well, good play by Trevor Lass from his safety position, number 27. They ran again in the first half, a play very similar to that. And if you remember, Trevor Lass came in and was a little bit out of control, and they turned it into a big game for the receiver. That time, Trevor was more under control, made a great hit, and now, forced McMaster into a 2nd and long. So good play by the safety, Trevor Lass.
So McMaster now on the near hash. They've got some work cut out for them. 2nd and 14. Ferguson. He's going to air it out, and that is going to be incomplete. That looked like it was a little bit long for one guy and short for another in between. And it's 3rd down now. So we'll take a look at that 3rd down play. This was a big-time gain. You could see everyone was expecting the QB sneak, but Cross almost dropped the handoff, held it at face height, and just the one block is all they needed to spring that for 14.
Well, Huggins from his linebacker position made a great play in forcing that play outside, but there was no one else to fill, so they were easily able to get the 1st down.
Carpina's kick is hung up. It's caught at the 20 by San Vito, and no yards call. Not a great punt on the play. And when the kick is that short, it's hard for the coverage team. You're not necessarily looking for the ball in the air running down the field. And that one was a short kick, and it's going to cost them a no yards penalty.
Definitely, and be interesting to see whether it's the 5-yard call.
15-yard penalty.
It's a big one.
Oh, there, that goes to what you were talking about, Christian, the fact that it really put the coverage team in a vulnerable position, and instead of the 5-yard penalty, it gets them to 15.
So Western will instead start at the 36 instead of their own 21. A big difference there. And now Finch, empty backfield, rolls out right. Throws it over, and it's a short pass. He was going for Brian Marshall. It was short. And we have an update down on the sideline with John Urban. John.
Thank you very much, Christian. Matt Uren not on the bench for the Western Mustangs. At halftime, he was taken away to the X-ray room. X-rays were negative. It is a knee sprain, they're calling it for now, but we'll see if that'll affect the rest of the season for the STA and London native. Matt Uren, back to you guys in the booth.
That's a tough loss if he's out for an extended period of time.
Certainly will be, and let's hope he makes a recovery and he's back on the field.
2nd down and 10. Will Finch waves his receivers. Quick throw, and it's caught. Justin Sanvito spins, and he's down at the 49-yard line. A good gain on 2nd down, and they'll take the 1st down there.
Good read by Will Finch. Here you have McMaster with 7 people at the line of scrimmage coming after him, and you have the wide receiver, Justin Sanvito, just running an in route. Easy play for 7-8 yards, and then he puts his shoulder down and gets the 1st down.
Gain of 13 on the play, and Western will run 1st down here. Passing again, Finch gets it out to St. Clair in the flats. He'll get out of bounds inside Mac's side of the field.
Again, a short little out pass there to Adam Sinclair. Good coverage on the play, but it still results in 7-8 yards.
And now Western with a 2nd and short. The handoff, a flag flies. San Vito. He got enough.
Well, he got enough for the first down, but I believe they're going to call McMaster for offside there, number 27, I believe. Martin came in on a blitz, but I think he was a little bit early.
That was actually Haru on the carry.
5-yard penalty. It remains
Penalties on the Mustangs, so they're going to have to redo the play.
Great eyes, Nige.
You thought you had it.
Oh, my goodness.
Instead, it's Western's penalty.
Western, so, credit to McMack there. Here I am calling the guy offside. He saw the Western player move. He jumps into the backfield, makes a great play.
And now it's 2nd and still a manageable 7, but it's a little bit harder now. Can't just run it. See what they call here. Passing has been successful here on this drive. Finch back to pass, scrambles, makes one man miss, but can't get by the man of the day. It's Short Hill, who's been all over the place for McMaster.
Well, Will Finch was sat up in the pocket. He did have enough time. He was well protected. He could not find the open receiver. So credit to the McMaster secondary for not allowing the receivers any movement downfield sufficient enough to allow Will to feel he could throw the ball. So Western receivers have got to do a better job against that coverage, finding an open spot that Will can get the ball to them.
We saw a heavy punt rush earlier in the game, and they're bringing everybody here. They have one guy back to receive and 11 on the line to rush the kick. Medeiros, though, it's well blocked, and he will kick it into the open field. It bounces a couple times, and it's fielded. Mells gets to about the 24-yard line, and it's a good coverage by the Western Special Teams unit.
Well, a bit of a seesaw battle in this third quarter as both teams move the ball a little bit and then stop themselves, or the defense makes a great play, and so now field position becomes even more critical throughout this third quarter.
Not a high-scoring game, 17-15. Just under 10 minutes to play here. Every score is critical here. McMaster Marauders. We'll see if they can get the offense going, as the D's have dominated so far in the third quarter. Ferguson pitches. Pizzetta, nowhere to go. And Pizzetta's brought down after a gain of only 1.
Well, good defense. They try to string the play out there. McMaster does. Ryan Northfield from his end position making a good tackle, and also filling in from the backer position was Phil Najur.
So 2nd and long from their 24-yard line. Play really didn't gain anything. So they're going to probably be forced into a passing situation once again. Ferguson, bit of a low snap. Pressure coming, and Wad knocked it away. They're going to call it incomplete. Wad got right in the face of Ferguson. He swatted that pass, I think, just as it was being released from his hand. Interesting to take another look at this one. But what a play again by Wad.
Well, great rush by Daryl Wad, and certainly when it's run at full speed, you can't blame the official for giving credit to the quarterback here. When you watch the replay, you can debate, was his arm coming forward, was his arm not coming forward. Certainly Daryl Wad is right in there. And when you watch the replay, it's a fumble. When you watch it in real speed, you can sympathize with the official.
And for the third time today from this end, McMaster will concede 2 points to make it a 19-15 lead.
Well, again, we're just seeing the seesaw battle, and Western's defense coming up big, getting 2 points, and now we see Western's offense get the ball again.
We'll be back with more Mustangs football after this.
My Western experience so far has been phenomenal.
My experience at Western this far has been unforgettable.
Astounding.
Unique.
Very memorable.
And it kind of just picks you up in week 1 and says,
Get out here, don't be afraid to be yourself.
Western really lives up to the #1 student experience.
You really get the sense that you are part of something here.
What I love about this place is that everybody here loves it.
Everyone takes pride in being a Western Mustang.
Yes, you come to university to learn and study, but as well you're here for the other things that the university offers.
Being part of clubs, being part of teams.
Western is this great campus, and there are so many opportunities.
Everything is there for you. When you see the juggling club, you see the dancing clubs, you just see everything you could possibly want.
I want to experience something new, and I want to try things that I've never tried before.
To meet new people, meet great professors.
Professors here are awesome. They tend to be interested in what you are interested in.
And they really try hard to make you feel welcome.
The importance of having this student experience is really that it's something that's going to last you for the rest of your life.
When I think of Western, everything is possible.
I want everybody to have, the same great experience that I've had here.
And when I stepped on Western campus, it just felt right.
Stadium, Western coming off another safety conceded by the Marauders. We'll get the ball with decent field position. We'll see what they can do on offense. They haven't done much so far this half. Finch gets the ball, hands it off to Yannick Carew, who's got some speed going and gets down just past the Western 50. A couple yards shy of the first down. A good first down carry.
Yeah, running to the wide side of the field behind some good blocking. Able to pick up 7-8 yards on the first down. Good play, and once again you see, Nick Shorthill coming in and making the tackle.
Shorthill's been all over the field today, making huge plays for the Marauders. And now it's second down and short. Western's had a couple tricky second and shorts today that they haven't managed to convert. You'd think with their rushing attack this shouldn't be too difficult. And it's just a straight handoff to Haru, and he's going to get it, and he will be slung down, and a penalty flag flies. Shorthill says, what for? To get it down to midfield, it's enough for the first down. We'll have to take a listen.
Yannick makes a great run here. He hits the line, he gets the first down, and then he tries to pick up extra yards.
Unnecessary roughness, face mask, McMaster, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So they'll tack on 15 on the play for a face mask penalty. We'll have to take another look at that to see where the face mask happened. Didn't really look like it initially from this angle, but the ref had a good look at it.
Well, Nick Shorthill comes in, makes the tackle.
I don't see it.
No, I think he had him underneath his chin on his shirt, and it's just a good break for Western on that call.
Shaquille Johnson tripped up at the 30. Just can't quite get enough open space to make his magic happen today.
No, running the quick screen there to Shaquille, and then good play by the McMaster player coming over, number 44, making a good shoestring tackle on the play.
Still enough for a first down, though. Western driving inside the 30-yard line. Finch back to pass, a little flip out. And just falling out of bounds is Tommy Marshall. Down at the 28-yard line. A bit slow to get up, but he'll be all right.
Tommy slips out of the backfield again to the short side of the field. Seems both teams are having success getting their running backs out of the backfield to the short side of the field, picking up, initially anywhere from 3 to 6 yards. That time Tommy slipped trying to make a move, and now we're looking at 2nd and 8.
Finch gives it to Haru, but he's got nowhere to go.
No, good play by the defensive line of McMaster. Really closing that play down. Adam Dickinson coming in from his tackle position, number 65 down the line, and not allowing any movement at all.
It's a gain of 1 on the play, and it means a field goal attempt is upcoming from Zach Medeiros. And this will be a 33-yard attempt. He's made 2 so far today. He made from 26 and from 32. And this one will be officially a 33-yard attempt. Well within his range. Snaps a little bit high. Bone gets it down. And that one is good. So it makes it a 22-15 lead for Western. A touchdown lead as McMaster will get the ball with just under 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Special teams working well for Western today.
Well, both teams having success with their special teams, both teams moving the ball, not being successful yet in this third quarter in completing an entire drive. They seem to be getting a number of first downs, and then the defense seems to stiffen up a bit and make some good plays. So it's anyone's game to this point, that's for sure.
We both know the offensive potency of both of these teams. At any moment they can strike, and it's within a touchdown for McMaster. Going deep, Ferguson. It is going to be knocked around, and again, Calvin Johnson had a few today where he had a hand on it.
Well, he had great coverage on the play, and also Trevor Lass came in and made was certainly over top as well, so good defensive coverage.
John Urban's got an update. John.
Thanks once again, Christian. If you look just over my left shoulder, you will see one of the Marshals, Tommy Marshall, who appears to be a little shaken up after that last drive. If you remember correctly, at homecoming, he actually dislocated his shoulder, came back in and continued to play. Zach Medeiros was 7 for 10 on field goals coming into this game. He's perfect on today. He was 2 for 4, 50% from 30 yards or more. Guys?
It looked like O'Connor had a chance there to maybe break it upfield and get enough for the first down, but he slipped on the field.
Well, they like that play. They brought O'Connor from the short side over to the wide side earlier. This time they bring him from the wide side over to the short side underneath, and they hit him with that pass, and he slips trying to turn upfield. Here you see the previous replay where Marshall Ferguson throws it up high, but there's great coverage by Calvin, and there you see Trevor Lass in good position as the safety on top as well. So a dangerous throw by Marshall, and he was lucky it wasn't picked off.
He hasn't been punished today, but he's had a few of those. Fielded at the 30 by Haru. He stops, he starts again, and he gets about 5 on the return.
You know, good coverage, a good punt. Both special teams playing well on both sides of the ball with their coverage units.
Lots of punts so far here in the third quarter. So Western, after their first successful drive of this third quarter, resulted in a field goal. Not a long break for the McMaster defense. They're right back onto the field after 2 quick plays. We'll see if they can keep up.
They are, and one thing I've noticed in this second half is McMaster's star corner, Joey Capito, has not been playing, and that's on the boundary side, the corner. Haven't seen him take the field in the second half, so not sure. Obviously, he's got some sort of injury, and interesting to know if Western will think about going after that position.
Sinclair gets the sweep and gets nothing. Again, Shorthill, a solo tackle, pretty high tackle, and the crowd was a bit curious as to why maybe there was no penalty there. No face mask though, so there's no foul. 2nd down and 10. Finch, passing situation. He looks, he's got nowhere to go. He runs up the middle, and he'll get to the 42. And again, nowhere to throw the ball. The pocket breaks. He takes it up the middle, but not enough for the first down.
Right. Give credit to Western's offensive line. Again, he's got plenty of time to set up and throw the football, so the pass protection's there initially. But what's happening is Western's receivers are being covered by the McMaster Marauders secondary, and there's no one open to throw the ball. So good defensive stand from McMaster, and certainly credit to the defensive secondary.
It's turning into a field position battle here in this third quarter. Another punt. Medeiros has plenty of time to kick it. A high kick fielded at the 25 by Mells. Mells, he's got some space. Mells gets it up to the 43 before he's brought down by Sinclair. And a nice return there sets up Mack. Decent field position.
Well, it was actually one of Medeiros' better punts in terms of hang time. He really got it up in the air, and but a good return.
Taking a look at the Mustangs Male Athlete of the Week. This is Christian Douglas, a third-year kinesiology student from Oakville, Ontario, scored 2 goals in the Mustangs' 5-1 win over Waterloo on Saturday afternoon. Put him into a tie for 3rd place among all OUA players with 8 goals on the season. That's your Mustangs Male Athlete of the Week as we get back to action on the field. Ferguson going deep again, and it's underthrown, and is this one finally intercepted, and they'll make him pay. That is Josh Woodman with the interception. Another underthrow from Marshall Ferguson, and finally the Mustangs secondary makes him pay for it.
Great concentration on the football by Josh Woodman. The field corner, to the wide side of the field. He's perfect coverage. You're right, the ball's underthrown again, and this time Western's able to hold on to the ball and make the turnover.
Again, throwing into coverage, and he underthrew it, and it was intercepted. That ball's on the ground. It was one of those zone reads where they were both holding on to the ball, and they both let go of the ball. Not a good, clean exchange, but Finch gets onto it. A loss of 4.
A little bit of a miscue between Adam and Will Finch here. And remember, Adam's coming in after not receiving the majority of the reps at that W position this week, where Matt Uren would normally get all of the reps. So perhaps just the unfamiliarity, but I'm sure both players will tell you that that should not happen.
2nd and 14 off the Josh Woodman interception. Finch with the keeper, and he's brought down in the backfield. A big play there by Mark Mackey to force another Western punt.
Well, certainly they need to hold the block a little bit longer. If it was the quick draw they were trying to run there, they need to just hold on to the block of the defensive end, Mark Mackey, a little bit longer. But he makes a great play. Mark Mackey, in his 2nd year out of London, and actually Saunders Secondary High School grad, makes a great defensive stand here.
Mackey on the season coming in 13 total tackles and 1.5 tackles for losses. His first sack of the season. And for Josh Woodman, that interception was his 3rd of the year. 2nd straight week that he has had a pick, but take another look at it. It's a good play by Woodman on an underthrown pass by Ferguson. He really wants this deep ball to happen. But you can see there, it's just well covered. Nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go. It's almost similar to the play about 4 plays ago when he threw it to the right side of the field. Calvin Johnson was in position to make the interception, and Trevor Lass was on top. This time he goes to the wide side, and he goes and throws it down the wide side. And this time Josh Woodman, perfect position, Trevor Lass on top. So the last 2 plays, Marshall has thrown the long ball. He's thrown into double coverage both times, and he's been underthrown. So
we're going to have a punt here coming up. 3rd down and 14. They don't make McMaster pay for the interception. In fact, they actually lost yards on the drive. So in essence, it's almost as good as a punt.
Definitely by the defense, so credit to Mac's defense for really doing a good job there. And here's Zach in for another punt.
He's been busy here in this 3rd quarter. Medeiros gets it off. It's a low line drive kick. 1 hop, it's fielded there. Vanderweerd makes a man miss. Vanderweerd's got some space. Vanderweerd in the open field, and he gets into Western territory. The ball's on the ground. Who's got it? Western say they do, but the ref immediately says it is McMaster football, and a flag flies at the Western 34. A lot happened on this play, and Simon Baru is livid at something here. Number 13 for Western, can't believe it. We'll take a listen to the call here. A huge return from Vanderweerd, and then the ball was on the ground, and here's the ref with the call.
We have McMaster recovering the fumble, and after the play, unnecessary roughness, Western, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Big time penalty on
The other day someone said to me, For every door there is a key, and on the other side there's what will be. What will be. On the other side there's what will be.
John Urban on the sideline has a little bit for us. John.
Great lead here for the Mustangs. The rain's starting to come back in chunks as hail's falling all around me down here, Christian, so watch out up there in the play booth. I wanted to talk about Ryan Northfield for a minute. He's standing out in a good way other than all the other Mustangs. He's wearing the pink socks and the pink handband to match the pink flags that the referees are throwing around today for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I talked to Ryan real quickly. He said not only is it for breast cancer awareness, it's also for gender equality and everything else going wrong in the world. Thanks, guys, and back to you in the booth.
Wayne Moore, again, I noted this earlier, on first down it seems like he's getting huge chunks, but when he gets the ball on second and short, Western is ready for him. And again, on 2nd and 2, Moore gets the ball, and I'm not sure they have enough for a first down. They're going to have to measure here.
Well, there'll certainly be a measure, and I think where the ball is placed, it's either inches or they're certainly going to be going for it, regardless of where this is. And on the first down play, Mac made some great runs in terms of that running back, breaking tackles. Western had 2 cracks at him, and he still managed to pick up 8 yards. Wayne Moore is doing an excellent job at that running back position.
That is close, but it's enough for the first down, and Mac will get inside the red zone and a first down opportunity with just under 2 to go here in the 3rd quarter. They're driving, trying to tie this game up. Rushing attack on first down seems to be paying off big time for Mac. See what they go to here as the field gets shorter. Crowd making noise, trying to propel this Mustangs defense. They fake the handoff a little, dumped across. Cross has some space. Cross inside the 5, and he's flipped over at the 2-yard line. A gain of 17 for Declan Cross, and Mac will have goal to go.
Well, Western is yet to make an adjustment, I think, defensively in terms of trying to figure out how to pick up that guy who leaks out into the back, and give credit to the Mac coaches for coming back and going to that play and keep using it until Western figures out how to cover that guy out of the backfield.
Oh, it's 1st and goal from the 2. Ferguson's alone in the backfield. Quick throw, it's deflected and incomplete. 2 Mustangs defenders both had the perfect read on the play, including Malcolm Brown, and he thought he had an interception there.
Good coverage there, both Western defenders in the right position, knocked the ball away. Now it looks like Mac on 2nd and goal from the 1.
They're going to take 3 cracks at this. No chance they're kicking here. They are unsuccessful on try number 1. Here's their 2nd attempt from the 2. Ferguson has more in the backfield. He hands it off. No, it's a fake. A little flip out, and it's caught for the touchdown. Declan Cross and McMaster are an extra point from tying this game.
All a game of inches. There you have it. The running back is leaked out. Safety Trevor Lass has position on him. He's about half a step behind him, and the ball was thrown perfectly by Marshall Ferguson. Watch him here. He just steps up, leads him perfectly. There you see Trevor Lass, step or 2 behind in terms of the coverage. So good call, good execution of the play by McMaster.
Beautiful offensive play there, and now Carpina will try to boot it through for the tie game here. And we are tied at 22 in London. We knew this was going to be a close game. We knew it would be a tough game, but a 22-all tie here, winding down in the 3rd quarter. This 4th quarter is going to be something to watch, Nigel.
Certainly is. That was a Great third quarter as well for both teams, back and forth, back and forth. Special teams really coming into play, and penalties coming into play in terms of what's happening with these individuals.
Mustangs Female Athlete of the Week is Amanda Boyle of the women's soccer team. She's a second-year kin student, had another strong outing on Saturday. She had 4 goals in Western's 8-1 win over the Warriors. She's been a nightmare for opposing keepers this season. Tied for Canada lead with 17 goals in this season. It's her second Athlete of the Week nod this season. She was also honored early in September with OUA, CIS, and Western Female Athlete of the Week awards. But again, the women's soccer team doing very well this season, and Amanda Boyle, a big part of that. Kickoff coming here, Crapina. About 55 seconds left. It gets hung up in the air. It's going to hit the ground. And it's caught on a bounce by Johnson. Johnson tries to get away but can't. And at the 31, he's brought down.
Well, that's not what you want from your kickoff return team. You do not want the ball to be hitting the ground, and it'll drive Coach Chris Marcus crazy. He preps, he works so hard with those kids, preparing them. He does an outstanding job. And there, you let it hit the ground, and the coverage team gets down to you.
Perhaps a lucky bounce. You never know when that football hits the ground where it's going to go, and on a kickoff, that's a live ball. Hand off, and it's Shorthill again, and Haru loses a few. Nick Shorthill is the man of the day on the McMaster defense.
Well, he comes in from the wide side of the field as Sam outside linebacker position. He's totally unblocked. No one is going to block him because the quarterback has a read to make, and Will didn't even pay attention to him, sort of gave the ball too early, and as a result, Shorthill had an easy time.
Play was dead in the water as soon as it happened. Second now and 14, another long second down. Finch has to break out of the pocket, and he's going to be brought down. The ball is out. That ball goes out of bounds. And I don't know if that's going to be a sack. Maybe it's just a gain of 1. Finch is on the ground, though, and he's real slow getting up. And that's the end of the third quarter. A compelling third quarter, and the fourth quarter should be 2. Will Finch at the end of the third quarter, you can look, his right arm right now is just hanging there.
Well, he took another big hit, and he's having trouble finding the open receiver downfield.
We'll be back with the fourth quarter.
Build anything with the redesigned 2014 Toyota Tundra. Tough enough for any project.
Law has just always been a passion of mine. It's something I've known I've wanted to do since I was a little kid. There was never anything that was going to stop me from coming to law school and from becoming a lawyer. My dad was always my #1 support. Like all good parents, he wanted the things for his kids that he could never have. Being a student that has always demonstrated financial need, it's been difficult to feel like there's been somebody to help you. And for the first time when I received this money, it felt like somebody had given me a break. I don't know if there are words that could convey how grateful and how impactful their donation was and what it's done for me. It affects me every day in everything I do, in my school, in my personal life. Knowing that we would have this money changed both of our lives. Thank you for supporting Student Dreams.
TD Waterhouse Stadium, where we have a tie game, 22-all, and Western is kicking into the wind for this fourth quarter. The wind blowing into Medeiros' face at the moment. Let's see what happens. Medeiros' kick is going to get hung up around midfield. It's fielded by Mells. He'll get to the 51, and they're going to tax him on there for no yards for sure.
Absolutely. Rossi coming down on the coverage, number 6 for Western. Bit out of control. He's got to know that the punter is kicking into the wind, and you've got to be smart about that.
We know it's no yards, so we go down to John Urban with an interview. John.
Thanks once again, Christian, here with one of the running backs for the Western Mustangs, number 5, Alex Taylor, who got his first ever touchdown in the purple and white uniform against the Waterloo Warriors last weekend. First, just take me through that marker, Alex. It was a beast of a run.
It was pretty simple. I mean, the offensive line opened it up pretty well, and then my fullback, David Mackey, made a beautiful block, and from there it was daylight.
Does it feel like a bit of a monkey off the back, though, to get the first TD out of the way?
Yeah, I think so, and I didn't really get off to the greatest start. I mean, I fumbled the ball at the beginning of the game, so to come back and score a touchdown was nice.
Definitely made up for that fumble with the second half touchdown. I got to ask you this question before I let you go. The team's undefeated right now, and you got to ask the question, what does it feel like to be a Western Mustang and to be a part of this outstanding football program?
It's pretty surreal. I mean, coming from high school to a program like this, couldn't ask for anything more. It's a first-class program. You know, we prepare every week pretty hard, and we come into games flying. So we just come here to win, and that's what it's all about, right?
The Winnipeg, Manitoba native Alex Taylor. Some of the teammates are calling him AT down here. Back to you guys in the booth.
Here's a big play, a first down and some down to the 7-yard line for Daniel Vandervoort. And Western is in trouble here after a poor punt, 15-yard no yards penalty, a 7-yard carry on first down, and then a big hitter to Daniel Vandervoort down to the 7-yard line, a gain of 25.
Great offensive play call and execution by McMaster. Western in his own defense in the middle wide open, and Vandervoort just came across, and Marshall hit him with a perfect throw.
Mack in scoring range as they go to try to take the lead. That pass is short. Good pressure on the quarterback there. Phil Najur was a big part of that incompletion. So you take a look at the red zone production. They've been very good at getting points, but only 58%. They've been in the red zone 24 times and have settled for field goals 10 times. And right now, Western's trying to make them kick it instead of giving up 6.
Right, and they were very lucky on that first down play. Again, they're bringing Cameron, as they have all game, underneath. They take him from one side to the other. Malcolm Brown picked him up late and was actually 5 yards behind. The ball was just underthrown.
The man was open. Let's see what happens now. Ferguson looks. The pass is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And the Mustangs defense with a good stand to force a field goal attempt.
Outstanding play by the defensive line. They were pushing upfield. They were sort of collapsing the pocket, but Marshall had plenty of time there. But when he went to throw the ball, the arm came up and successfully knocked it down. So heads up play there by defensive line for Western.
That was Rupert Butcher getting a hand up to knock that one away. And now Tyler Crapina will have a chance to give McMaster the lead with a 14-yard field goal. Gets it on the tee, and no doubt about it, Mack is in front. 25-22. And now Western will have to try to answer. Their offense had one solid drive in that third quarter that ended up with a field goal, but for the most part, they've been stymied.
They have been stymied, and give credit again to McMaster's defense, and I particularly want to say the secondary, because they've really shut down the receivers. I still think Will Finch has had time to throw the ball. He just hasn't found the receiver.
Take a look at the OUA Players of the Week. Chris Pizzetta on offense. He had 2 huge missed seasons there with ACL injuries, and now Finch back on the action. He dropped the ball. The ball's still loose, and it is going to be recovered. McMaster says they have it. The refs are going to discuss it. And it's McMaster football. Finch is down, still slow to get up. McMaster on the very first play for the Western Mustangs, and they give it right back to McMaster with great field position take another look at it. A scramble, the ball squirted out of that pile, and Finch can only look on.
Well, initially they were trying to throw the quick screen to the wide receiver, and I couldn't tell, but Will Finch didn't like what he saw. He pumped out there and didn't get rid of the ball. Perhaps the coverage was there, and then he got stripped of the ball as he tried to move up the field.
And now McMaster will try to make them pay. The play action fake gets it to Cameron at the 16. And now McMaster can try to build on this lead. Uncharacteristic mistakes by the Mustangs.
Well, they came to the short side of the field there and found a hole in the zone, and Marshall just stood back there, had no pressure, and successfully threw the pass downfield.
20-yard gain on first down. They're in field goal range again, but they want more than that. They want a touchdown here to try to make it a 2-score game. Ferguson, he'll hand it off to Pizzetta. Pizzetta down to the 10. OUA Offensive Player of the Week. We just mentioned him. Down to the 10. Coming off 2 separate ACL injuries, having a fine season this year. Over 300 yards rushing coming in, 3 touchdowns, including 154 yards rushing last week in a win over Queens.
Right, he really hasn't been carrying the ball a lot in today's game. It's been, a lot more of seeing, way more of the football. So good call there, perhaps trying to catch Western off.
And Pizzetta is back in the backfield again on second down, going to the end zone, and my goodness, reading that all the way.
Well, middle linebacker Preston Huggins really had a great jump on the ball, came underneath. Marshall Ferguson did not see him, and I'm sure Preston Huggins will be a little bit angry with himself. I mean, he knocked the ball down, but he'll say, if he'd caught it, he might still be running.
Again, a lot of good pass breakups today by the Mustangs defenders. 1 interception to show, but Ferguson's missed some reads. So they haven't been really too much worse off for it. And now they'll get a chance to add to the lead. Crapina just hit one from 14. This one is from 18, and the snap is missed. Crapina gets on it at the 31. A special teams blunder by the McMaster Marauders. Oh man, they'll rue that one.
Well, Christian, we spoke about it earlier in the game. It takes 3 people plus all the blockers to make sure this play happens, and there was an example of sometimes you take something for granted and the snap wasn't there, the holder was not successful in getting the ball down. It goes way back, and give the Western Mustangs credit there, the defense held them.
The holder wasn't even looking at the center when that ball was snapped to him. He wasn't expecting it, and it was snapped too early, and now Western will have a chance. They get away with the fumble because you take another look at the bad snap. Watch the holder. He's not looking for the ball when it comes back. He's looking back. He's looking at his kicker, and there it goes.
Right, miscommunication. I think we used that word earlier in the first half. Communication between the center, between the holder, between the kicker. Communication is the key, and that time it failed, and Western pretty happy with that result.
Absolutely. Finch rolls out, and it's a little bit low for Haru.
Right, Yannick will tell you he should have caught the ball, but it was thrown a little bit low from Will. He's got to step in. He sort of threw a bit. He was moving, threw a bit off his back foot, and the ball went down on him. But ultimately, Yannick will tell you, I got to hold on to that ball.
The old phrase, if you can touch it, you can catch it. Not the best throw from Finch, but it puts them in a 2nd and long. Flags fly, and Finch gets drilled. And I mean drilled by Nick Shorthill. Flags fly, and Finch from the blind side got clocked. Take another look at this one. Watch Finch. He does not see Shorthill coming, and he gets nailed.
Well, I was unsure on that play, and you'd have to run it back and see if there was a whistle. McMaster definitely jumped offside, and after the offside, I thought there was a whistle there, and then he took a free shot at the quarterback, and you'd have to listen.
I don't think there was a whistle. Everyone seemed to keep playing, but Finch just takes a huge shot, and we've mentioned Short Hill's name a number of times today. Coming from the weak side, or the blind side blitz, he was not looking at it at all.
No, and you can't blame McMaster. I don't blame Short Hill at all. I mean, he's coming from the outside, and he's coming in dead, and he's doing his job, and, you know, he has to do that. Perhaps when there is an obvious offside, sometimes the officials do blow it dead, etc., and maybe the officials, knowing it was already offside, knowing he had a free shot, could have blown it dead to protect the quarterback. But, you know, that might not be a possible play from the officials' perspective. You'd have to ask them if they even go that route. But Nick Shorley was just playing the game. He took a good run, made a good hard hit on the quarterback.
Well, and that's the thing with an offside. Oftentimes you see offenses taking a shot down the field because they know they have a free play. And in this case, you know, the downside to that happening is you might have a free runner going at your quarterback, and the offense knows that they've got a free play here, but no one touches Short Hill, and there's a bit of a discussion here. Greg Marshall was on the sideline livid.
Absolutely. You know, his major concern is the protection of his quarterback and the protection of the players.
Take another look at the line of scrimmage. Take a look. Are they offside? Oh, absolutely they are. And Short Hill's one of the ones that was offside, and he's the one that gets the free shot.
Well, they are clearly offside, and I don't think that was ever the issue. The issue is if they're that much offside, and did you run the play or do you blow it dead and try to protect your quarterback? And I'm sure that's the issue. But I'm not sure what the discussion is here.
I mean, it's clearly just a 5-yard penalty, and it should still be second down. Now, it's too bad for Western because that happened, and now Finch is out of the game. And Stevenson Bone, with his team down 3 in the fourth quarter, the biggest game of the year for Western, and Bone is in, at least for now. Maybe that's what the discussion was about. Should Finch be allowed to play this down? Bone, back to pass. He's going to air it out deep. Bone has Johnson, and did he get his feet in bounds? He absolutely did.
What an outstanding play by the young quarterback coming in a tough position like that. He sets up in there, he throws the streak down the outside. He threw it in the way that gave the receiver a great chance. Very similar to what Will did earlier in the game. High and outside. Great play in a tough situation by the young quarterback, Stevenson Bone, and a great catch by Shaquille.
A gain of 34 on the play.
Offside
It looked like
again.
Offside, and Haru up the middle gets 7. Interesting to see what they do with this one. They'd accept it because they'll get 1st and 5.
They'll get 1st and 5, and again, Short Hill is getting in the backfield right away. He's offside.
They got to be better disciplined here. There's a man down for
I think
McMaster.
it is Short Hill.
The Adopt a Mustang program. Great athletic programs are built with the help of great supporters, and being a Mustang requires significant commitment throughout the entire academic year. Through the Adopt a Mustang program, you can help Western student athletes to excel in and out of the classroom. For more information, visit westernmustangs.ca. So there's the offside call, the OUA Players of the Week. We mentioned Chris Mazzetta's name a number of times, and then you got a couple Laurier Golden Hawks. You see Ronnie Peffer there. He ran for 32 yards on a botched field goal attempt and had 28 yards on a fake punt and was 3 for 3 on the day. And for Chris Mackey, he was part of the big defensive effort as Laurier only allowed 3 points to Carleton in that contest. If you want to get some good Western Mustangs gear, you can go to the bookstore and Books Plus at Western, or shop online at bookstore.oua.ca. Around the OUA.
Christian, sorry for interrupting,
sorry.
but make sure you write that website down. You mentioned good things at the bookstore, including clothing gear. I'll give you my size after the game, and you can go down there and pick something up.
Okay, I'll make sure it's pink. 1st and 5 for the Mustangs. They're approaching the scoring range. Oh, they had him jumped again. They snapped the ball because it was an offside. No flags, though. Bone escapes. Bone, look at him go, and he gets the first down out of nothing. Stevenson Bone is making it happen right now for Western. Now, there was definitely a jump offside, and because of that, Van Prate decided to snap the ball. Now, take another look at this. You can see he's not looking. Lucky that it was just sitting there.
Well, what a heads-up play by Stevenson Bone. And, you know, the center, Matt Van Prate, he's taught when the guy jumps to snap the football. And so he snapped the ball, but Stevenson Bone made a great play, picked it up, and then scrambled and either got a measurement or a first down. They just measured, they got the first down. But two heads-up play in a row. But I want to question why, again, this is a similar play. I want to know what's going on with the official on the line who was watching the offside and not calling that and not seeing that. And as a result, you know, you're going to get someone injured. Will Finch is out of the game. He had another offside. There's a MAC guy down. The officials have got to make sure they protect these players.
With another man on the field, we go to John Urban for an update. John.
Thanks once again, Christian. Here on the Western sideline, last number 27 appears to be having trouble with his vision. They tried to give him some vising. They even brought out one of those optometry charts to see if he could see it from certain distances. I don't know if it was a result from a hit or if something actually has physically gone into one of his eyes. Needless to say, though, he is on the bench and won't return until he can get his vision.
Will Finch heads back in, and Stevenson Bone gets a massive applause from the audience. What a good job by that young man filling in spot duty there. And he leads the Mustangs down the field and puts them where they are right now. Finch on first down. Will not. He hands it. No, it's a touchdown. Shaquille Johnson. And the Mustangs take the lead.
Well, that's a huge play, not only for the Western Mustangs, but it's a huge play for Will Finch. He's been battered around. He's struggled in terms of finding his receivers. That time he comes back on the field after a hellacious hit, and now he throws the back shoulder pass to the wide receiver. It was the only position because the coverage was up on top. Shaquille catches it on the back shoulder and then turns upfield and gets the touchdown. So Will Finch, Stevenson Bone together took that team down the field with Shaquille Johnson making some great catches and scoring. Much needed touchdown for Western.
Acrobatic play. Finch the fake handoff hits Johnson on the out pattern, 18 yards. He somersaults into the end zone for the touchdown reception. And for Shaquille Johnson, that is his first touchdown as a Western Mustang. And Finch right back into it. Took a hit on that play, but he made the pass off the play action, and Western regains the lead, but there's still a lot of time left in this one. 29-25, 9.5 minutes to go here at TD Waterhouse Stadium.
Let's not forget the previous series and what took place in terms of the Western defense coming on the field after that turnover. McMaster going down the field, having first and goal. They were stopped, and then on the third down field goal attempt, there's a miscue. So Western defense really does a great job in getting a momentum shift turn. And then Western's offense comes on, and you see some individual efforts by some players for Western that really changed a bit of the momentum. Now we'll see what Mac is made out of.
Good kick from Medeiros, fielded at the 10 by Mells. Mells gets through. A good return down to the 33 by Isaiah Mells. And now McMaster will try to answer that touchdown drive by Western with one of their own, as they are down 4. Here with 9:20 to go in the fourth.
Well, a good kick and great return again by McMaster. They've done a good job with both their punt return and their kickoff return, giving their offense good field position. And here they are on the 34 and trying to put together a drive to reestablish themselves in this football game.
So McMaster needing a strong drive now. See what the defense has for Western. Ferguson out to Cameron. Cameron up to the 46, and he ducks for the first down.
Well, good execution of the play by McMaster on that screen thrown outside. And number 84 for McMaster does a great job in terms of the block. Vanderweed setting it up, and then the receiver comes underneath the block. So excellent execution, and they move the chains.
Cameron is having a nice day today for the Marauders. First and 10, just inside their own end. Ferguson has time. He's going to air it out downfield. This is Cameron, and Cameron cannot come down with it. The pass is broken up.
Well, good coverage. I think it was a really good route by the wide receiver in terms of getting down and outside. What I couldn't figure out was Simon Baru on the coverage. We'll see it perhaps here on the replay. Ball's thrown up and he's beat and he's looking and he just sort of gets up and gets his hand into the hands of the receiver, knocking it away. So great play by Simon.
I think if that pass had about 3 more yards on it, he had a step on Baru and had a chance to go for a long way there. Ferguson has to uncork it down the field. Johnson, another dropped interception for Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson will be angry at himself there. He's in perfect position, great defense. Marshall Ferguson threw the ball up again. I'm not sure why he's throwing it there. The coverage is in place, and perhaps he's hoping. I know he's had receivers make great catches for him, but in this kind of a football game, you don't want these kind of turnovers.
With the pressure on him, he just kind of threw it up there and hoped for the best. This punt is received and nowhere to go, and it's going to be Western Mustangs starting with the ball on the 35. When we come back on Mustangs TV, it's 29-25 Western with 8:08 to go in the fourth.
Welcome to Golden Hawk Lake. Is this the new Toyota Highlander? Yep. Must feel like your own little world in here. I guess. Does this world of yours have a name? No. Ever look at the stars through your moonroof? I have. Ever wish upon them? No. Backup camera, like having eyes in the back of your head? A little. 1 or 2 eyes? It has a V6 engine, right? Yes, sir. Is it powerful? Definitely. Do you think I'm powerful? Possibly.
The all-new Toyota Highlander. One look, and you'll want to know more.
Back at TD Waterhouse Stadium, Western has the ball with 8 minutes to go. They have a 4-point lead, and Finch rolls out. He's got men chasing him. He puts it up, and that's just a throwaway. Good pressure on him. No time to really set himself and throw to San Vito. And a good job pressuring Finch there by the Marauders front line.
Absolutely. Short Hill was in again from his linebacking position, as was number 77 from his defensive end position. Cash Hack coming in, putting pressure, and Will had nowhere to go with the football, so now they're looking at 2nd and 10.
Mack needs a stop here. Back to pass Finch. Instead, he's just going to run it, and we've seen this a number of times, Nigel, where initially there's no one open, and instead of maybe waiting or throwing it away, he decides to try to scramble, but Mack has not let him get away with that today, and they again stop him after only a gain of a yard.
No, and Mack is now getting sort of in tune to that move by Will Finch, where he sets up in the pocket, he can't find the open receiver, and then he starts to creep up and run through the pocket, and the defensive linemen are coming off the blocks, where the offensive line have protected the pocket really well and actually making a pretty easy tackle.
For the first time today, it looks like the sun has come out. As back to field this punt at the 34 is Mells. Mells is going to go backwards. Good field coverage there by the Mustangs punt team. Mells ends up getting nothing on that return.
Lloyd Bro with a textbook tackle to drop him at the 35.
We go down to John Urban on the sideline with an update, John.
Thank you once again, Christian. You just mentioned it. Mr. Sun has decided to shine on us for the first time in this football contest. We've seen rain, we've seen hail, we've seen the slushy stuff, but good thing that Mr. Sun is now out, and it's going to maybe play a factor in it when you consider these players have played in nothing but gray and cloudy skies and rainy weather leading up until now. Guys?
Thanks, John. Good run up the middle by Wayne Moore. Again, a good first down run. Gets about 6 on that carry.
Well, he does. He's successful in getting through the line. He squeezed through and forcing, I believe it was Darryl Watt to make the tackle about 6 yards downfield. That's not where he wants to make the tackle.
Master trailing by 4 points. 6:40 to go at TD Waterhouse Stadium. Ferguson over the middle. It's caught by O'Connor inside Mustangs territory. And down about midfield. Good first down play. O'Connor puts them at the midfield stripe.
Well, we haven't talked a lot about it, but there's been a number of significant changes in the Western defense in this game. The middle linebacking position, the safety position, and now they've had to make another change because Trevor Lass is still out of the game and Malcolm Brown is now playing in the safety position. So a lot of adjustment there by both the players and the coaches in terms of trying to organize the defense, and especially with 6 minutes to go, there's a lot of young players in some tough positions playing.
Moore with only 1 on that carry. Around the OUA, Ottawa big winners, 51-10 over Waterloo. No surprise there. Carleton leads late in the fourth, 53-24 over Toronto. Laurier, after crushing Carleton, that's not a big win, 27-10 over York. We've seen them give up a lot of points this year, but York with 10 in a game. Good for them. Ferguson back to pass on 2nd and 9 over the middle. It's almost intercepted. Jeff Brooks had a hand on that one.
Well, good coverage there by the secondary for Western in a man under 2 deep zone. And Brooks underneath on the hip of the receiver was in perfect position. And I'm sure Sunday when they're sitting down watching film, defensive coaches and the defensive players are going to be sort of making a few comments about the hands on the defense.
Oh, they're running another fake punt. And this is going to be a first down and some. A huge hit. Holy cow. A big hit. Andrew Surya just nailed one of the Mustangs there. Was that Brooks again? No. That is Patrick Fortune, who got a huge hit there. Take another look. This is the second successful fake punt that the Marauders have run today. And just watch here at the top of your screen as Fortune got plowed there. Didn't really do anything to the play. He got tackled anyway, but Fortune is still down, got his bell rung, just got up now.
Right, he got a terrific block, I think, right in the chest plate. Perhaps he's severely winded, and let's hope he's okay. He's a hard-working young man. He's put a lot of hours and effort into getting himself to the field, and give him credit standing on the sideline, and let's hope he's all right. So but you know what? What a play by McMaster. Here they are faking the punt again, and we said it earlier, special teams have been a big factor in this game, Christian.
Crapina is now 2 for 2 passing on the day. And they're inside Western Territory down to the 41. Moore, though, on first down. Osikusi was there to make this play dead in the backfield.
Ricky Osikusi having a great game, beats the block at the line of scrimmage, is in the backfield and makes the tackle. And I believe Brooks also was in there helping him with the tackle, so good for those players. Jeff Brooks, number 30.
And now Western trying to make a stand here. 4.5 to go. McMaster 2nd and 11. Ferguson back to pass, has time over the middle, has a man, and is that caught? No, it's incomplete. Rising for that one was Peterman, had a chance to make a heck of a catch, but could not quite come down with it. And that'll be 3rd and 11. I'm not sure they're going to fake here. I think they're going to punt it and try to pin the Mustangs deep.
Well, a good position with the football by Marshall Ferguson. He threw it high, but the receiver went up, got his hands on it, but Simon Baru coming up I believe, puts a big hit on, and you had Jeff Brooks underneath with the underneath coverage.
So they made a good stop last time, McMaster on defense. They pinned them deep. We'll see if they can do that again. This kick is going to be fielded at the 4 by Haru, and he's out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Interesting, Haru fielding that punt. If he lets it go, there's about a 50-50 shot. It could go through the end zone, or it could bounce out at the 2. Now, if that single does happen, it makes it a field goal game, so that point does matter quite a bit here. But the reality is they're going to start with the ball on their own 10-yard line. They need to gain some yards here with time still plenty. 4:14 to go.
Well, this is crunch time for the Western offense. The last series wasn't one that they were particularly proud of. McMaster having forcing, 2 plays and out, and here they are on their 10-yard line having to hold the football and try to get some first downs here.
The clock is on their side if they can get some first downs and start to milk it. Finch throws back to pass over the middle. It is caught by Marshall. What a nice sliding catch by Brian Marshall to give them some breathing room in their own end.
Well, nice play call, and what an outstanding catch by Brian Marshall. He's got a bit of a sore thumb. That ball was thrown behind him. He has to reach back, and it looked to me like he got the ball right on that sore thumb that he's been fighting with this week. And he just held on, and what a time to make a great catch.
Shook out his hand a little bit after that catch. A run by Haru. Yannick Haru's got space. Yannick Haru into the open field. He's still going. Yannick Haru dropped the ball. It's loose. It's on the ground. It's still loose. And the initial ruling is that Western got on top of it at the 41. A lucky break after a huge run by Haru.
What an outstanding play by Yannick Haru. He reads his blocks. There's great blocking at the point of attack there by Eddie Medeiros, the left tackle. And Yannick gets right up the field and gets some help from the receiver. And then he's running downfield. And how often do you see this in football? The running back does not see the trail man coming from behind who tomahawks the ball. And great play by the Mac man to knock that ball loose.
Finch scrambles, nowhere to go, and he's brought down by a number of Marauders, but the big man there was Adam Dixon, and he might share that sack with Nick Shortall. So we take another look at the run and fumble. You can see Haru there is caught from behind.
He's caught by Martin, who does a great job showing excellent speed. He comes down and just tomahawks the ball and knocks it loose, and he got beat on the play, and then he gets up and gives his team a chance to get the ball, but luckily another Western player still is able to get on the football. And I want to talk, Christian, just quickly about that last play. It's so familiar. Will has got to get rid of the football rather than take the sack.
Timeout called by the Mustangs here with 2:58 to go in the fourth quarter. My, what a finish we've got in store here at TD Waterhouse Stadium.
Lone Star believes that mesquite flavor don't come in a shaker. Tortillas should never be microwaved, and pico de gallo don't come from no jar. That's why Lone Star fires their grill with real mesquite wood trucked from Texas, makes freshly baked to order tortillas in their own oven, and fresh chops their pico daily. Now, if that much goes into making their fajitas taste so good, imagine what goes into everything else. Lone Star, the taste is in the details.
It's payback time.
It's not so fun when you're the target of rude behavior. College athletics has many traditions, but bad sportsmanship isn't one of them. Respect. It's the name of the game.
absolutely critical. 2nd and long. They need 12 yards to get the first down with the ball on Max 43. Finch back to pass, airs it out, intercepted. McMaster will get the ball back. It's Zach Ishmael. A huge defensive play.
Sure what the wide receiver for Western was running on the backside, because he should have held that guy out of that area.
Quick out to Peterman. Peterman trying to do his best to hold on to that football. He just will not go down. He got the first down at the 44. Gain of 11 there, just enough for the first down. 2:42 to go. What a finish we have here at TD Waterhouse Stadium is Western. Their defense is going to have to win them this football game.
Absolutely, they did a great job last time, but now with 2.5 minutes to go, the pressure is really on them.
McMaster still has a long way to go, though. Ferguson out to Cameron, nowhere. Gains about 2. 2nd down and long coming, and they're in 3-down territory now, I think.
Well, 2 series ago, they ran the exact same play on the other side of the field, where 84 is doing the blocking, and 14 for McMaster makes the reception, and Cameron took the ball this time, but Western was ready for it and came up and made the tackle.
Ferguson on the season's got some nice numbers today. He's been a little bit off his long passes. He's had a number that should have been picked. He's been picked once, and right now he's got 2nd and 8. He's going to keep it. He rolls out a good pass. O'Connor's open, and O'Connor has it inside Mustangs territory to the 44.
Good play call, but better execution by the receiver, the wide receiver. Comes down, curls into the open area, and the Sam linebacker didn't get back as deeply as he should in that zone coverage, and it really was an easy sort of throw for Marshall to throw it over his head and into the open area. Good execution by McMaster.
1st and 10. The Marauders trying to drive to take the lead. He's going to keep it again. It looks like the same play. Over the middle, it's tipped, and it's incomplete. Getting a hand on that was Brooks.
Yeah, Jeff Brooks in the middle there is able to tip it up, dangerously tip it up in the air, because there's also McMaster's receivers running through the area, and now presents a 2nd and 10 and less than 2 minutes in the game.
Crunch time for both these teams. Their offensive McMaster, the defensive Western, both teams undefeated and trying to stay that way. Only 2 undefeated teams left in Ontario. Windsor losing earlier today to Guelph. Ferguson back to pass, has time, airs it out, has O'Connor, and he's down at the 21-yard line. A gain of 23 on the play. And McMaster's pushing their way down this field.
They really are, and I'm not sure in terms of the zone coverage there to the wide side why you'd leave that guy that much room on the sideline and not be able to get to the ball that's thrown there.
McMaster putting pressure on the Western defense. They've stopped them at this point, though, before today. Ferguson on the out, and that is a good stop. Van de Weer didn't have much room to go. They're almost a horse collar. He's got to be careful. They're having his hand up there.
They had to be, and that was just a switch up of the previous screen 2 plays ago. This time it was number 14 for McMaster, Cameron, doing the blocking. And they just switched it up, hoping to catch Western. It's just 2-on-2, and you never know. You get a breakdown on an individual play, and it's in the end zone.
Western's made a few stops. They've given up a lot of yards here, but have forced McMaster into field goals at this point in the field before. But Mac will not be kicking. They'll be going for it on 3rd down if that has to happen. That pass is out at the 10, and it's caught. A nice diving play by Cameron. And it looks like it's going to be close for the first down. He had to come backwards to make the catch, but they're not even going to measure. They're just going to give him the first down at the 10, and this is 1st and goal for McMaster from the 10-yard line.
Right, McMaster's having a relatively easy time on the wide side of the field getting into the flats against that coverage, and they have to have a little bit tougher coverage in these kind of situations.
McMaster calls a timeout with 58 seconds on the clock. Sorry for cutting you off there, but this is 3 chances now for McMaster to more or less win the game. from the 10-yard line. And Western's defense is going to have to come up huge here if they want to stay undefeated.
Well, it's really an interesting time in the game in terms of what will the coaches do. If you're the offensive coach for Western, are you going to say, let's take a timeout after a play? Because do we need the time to come back and score? Do we let the clock run down and hope our defense holds them? There's a number of scenarios that are at play here. On this particular drive, Marshall Ferguson has had plenty of time to throw the football, and Western really has come at him with a lot of pressure. And there's been some, zone coverages with minimal pressure coming after Marshall, and that's allowed McMaster to move down the field.
Huge moment in this game, in this season, really. I know it's midway through, but this game has huge implications potentially on who could host a Yates Cup. Could be these two teams. And the winner of today's game would get to host it. We're looking way down the field, though, now. That snap is low on first down. Ferguson airs it out, corner of the end zone, caught for the touchdown, and McMaster will take the lead. It's Max Cameron in the corner of the end zone, and with 53 seconds left, the Marauders are back on top.
Perfectly executed play. Marshall just takes the snap, throws it high and outside, and we've seen that a lot today. And if you get a chance on the replay, you watch. You've seen this play over and over again. The ball is thrown up high and outside. The defender is trying to find the football, Simon Baru, and you notice he's a step behind. He doesn't get to see the football. The receiver does, and McMaster makes a great drive. The end of the game, a great play to score the go-ahead touchdown. And now there's some 50 seconds left, and we'll see what Western's offense can do.
To make it a 3-point game, Crepina is good. And now Western has 53 seconds to play. They need a field goal to send it to overtime, or a touchdown would win it. And the reality is they don't have a ton of time, but in the Canadian game, you can get pretty far in a short period of time. And my gosh, did we see that 2 weeks ago in Ottawa when Carleton, starting from their own 5 in 25 seconds, managed to get a touchdown. Obviously, you're not going to plan for a Hail Mary in this situation, but a good kick return would be a nice way to start it here.
Well, we haven't seen that yet today, Christian, from Western's return team, and I know that they are prepared to do that, and this is the time where you want to sort of have that, all that practice play off and preparation that the special teams coach Chris Marcus puts into it. It'll be interesting to see what type of kick Mac does here with 53 seconds left. Will they squib it? Will they put it up in the air? It's critical that the Western returners catch it in the air.
It's a good boot down. It's into the end zone. Shaquille Johnson will take it out. From 2 yards deep, Shaquille Johnson is hit at the 18-yard line, and Western has their work cut out for them here.
Well, 47 seconds to go. He made a 20-yard return. The problem was the ball was kicked 2 yards deep in the end zone. Great kickoff, great coverage by Mac. So Western's offense, 47 seconds to move the football down the field.
They need a field goal to send it to overtime. Zach Medeiros, his long on the season is 39 yards. And now Will Finch runs into the huddle. They need big chunks. And in the last few drives, they've really been unable to do so other than that long Haru run. But they're probably expecting a lot of throwing here. Finch, it's just a draw play, trying to catch them off guard. Will Finch up to the, he lost the ball, and it's covered by the Marauders on first down. Will Finch, what are they going to call here, that he was down by contact, or that Mac has it?
The officials really don't know. That number 43 is making the call, and Will Finch, you won't know until you watch the replay whether it was down. The officials certainly didn't know. The one who was closest was looking over at number 43 to make the call, the guy on the sideline. It was actually a great play by Western, a great call, because he runs right up the middle, and now it's trying to read the block. He gets hit. So you have no idea when the ball comes down.
That's tough to tell.
It's really tough to tell. So
run it back a bit. He gets hit. The ball's kind of, I think it's coming out. I think it's coming out before his left elbow touches the ground. I think that's a good call.
Well, it depends which part, because of the body hits the ground, but unfortunate play. Good hit by the McMaster player to cause the fumble, and give credit. It's turnovers kill you. You think about what's happened in the last 3 minutes, Christian. Will Finch down with a 2nd and 10, throws an interception. Mack takes the interception and is successful. And now Will Finch again trying to make a big play, fumbles the ball. It's been a tough day, but the reason he's had a tough day is because the McMaster Marauders have prepared well and their defense has done some good things against him.
Yeah, credit Mack's defense for sure in this game. Western led the OUA in points scored, over 50 a game, but again, you said throw the stats out the window for this game, and indeed it's been a tighter, more defensive game. And McMaster has come into London, and a huge drive put together by Marshall Ferguson, driving the Marauders down the field. Cap it off with a 10-yard touchdown grab by Max Cameron, who's had a monster day receiving. And now with 38 seconds to go, Western is looking pretty rough right here. 34, Wayne Moore, tackled in the backfield. And 3rd down coming up. Western out of timeouts. Clock will run down to about 16 seconds left in this game before this punt has to be made. Or even if they do kick it, I think you'd be wise to kick it unless you just take a time count penalty and then kick it. That's probably what's going to happen.
I think they will take the time count penalty, or at least run it down to the last second and then take the timeout and then just kick the ball away.
So Western will get the ball back. Timeout called. Take a look at when Western plays again. It's not even a week from now. It's Thursday night at 7 o'clock here at TD Waterhouse Stadium against the Laurier Golden Hawks. We're quietly putting together a very solid season. If you want to come to that game, a Thursday night affair before Thanksgiving weekend, you can get tickets online at westernmustangs.ca. If you can't make it, right here on Mustangs TV is where you can watch it. And Western looks like they'll probably be coming off a loss unless they can do something incredibly unlikely in these last 15 seconds. A punt return for a touchdown. I think if you're Tyler Carpena, you're kicking this out of bounds, are you not? Or are you trusting your special teams to cover it?
It'll be interesting. I think he'll try to kick it coffin corner out of bounds somewhere down near the 10, 9-yard line, or even try to kick it through and get a single, meaning that now Western has to score a touchdown rather than the field goal. So there's some options certainly for the McMaster coaches on this. Either pin them down deep, or if you think you can get the single point out of it, try that.
The wind, I believe, is with Carpena here. And he's going to try the old coffin corner, though.
Well, that's
not a great
not
kick.
Exactly where you wanted the ball to go out, because there's 10 seconds left, and the ball's now on the 26-yard line. Problem is Western has no timeouts. They certainly have time to make one play and a catch, and then down the ball and have a second play.
But the odds are very much against them at this point. For every Carleton play you see, there's 100 of these that just end up in a loss. And now they have time for a couple plays maybe, but to get into field goal range will be very difficult. Finch, back to pass. Throws it to San Vito, who's got it, and he will be taken down at the 40. The play took 5 seconds off the clock, though, and that really was a fairly quick play, and that took half the time remaining out.
Problem was they threw it to the wide side of the field, which is a long, long throw just to gain. This will probably be the last play here.
Yeah, the clock hits zeros. Finch escapes. He's going to have to throw it. He hucks it up, but that's nowhere close. It's caught by Shaquille Johnson, and well, that would be field goal range, but unfortunately the clock hits zeros, and the McMaster Marauders have come into London at TD Waterhouse Stadium and have defeated the Western Mustangs.
What a great play by those defenders right there. Let them catch the ball, don't interfere with them, and make the tackle.
We'll be back with some post-game right after this.
Lone Star believes that tortillas should be the rodeo star, not the sideshow clown. gotta be baked fresh, so they wrap around toppings like a warm hug from your mama. That's why Lone Star bakes those blankets of heaven in each restaurant with their own special oven. They ain't reheated in no microwave. So if that much goes into making their tortillas taste so good, imagine what goes into the rest of the fajita. Lone Star, the taste is in the details.
New improved Powerade Ion 4 replenishes fuel and 4 of the minerals lost in sweat. Powerade Ion 4 hydrates better than water. Keep sweating.
Back at TD Waterhouse Stadium, where the final score is McMaster 32, Western 29. It was a game that went back and forth a number of times. Western took the lead with about 9 minutes left on a Shaquille Johnson touchdown, but Western was unable to keep McMaster out of the end zone at the end of the game, and then turnovers in the end are what killed them.
It was, and it was quite a battle in that second half, back and forth. The teams were really, give them credit, both sides of the ball coming at it, and mistakes hurt you, and there were certainly mistakes on both sides. I know when the coaches sit down on both sides of this game that they're going to have a lot of errors and stuff, and anyhow, there were always bright spots, and one of the bright spots was number 99 for Western. I think he had a heck of a football game on that defensive line. They really seemed to do a good job in handling McMaster in terms of their running game and making some great plays. And
take a look at what he's done today. This was the big play, blowing up a 2nd and 1 in the backfield. Wayne Moore had nothing there. And then a different play, it's Wayne Moore again. And Wad swallows him from behind there.
Well, Darryl Wad was all over the field. Here he is, and this was one of the calls where we said, perhaps if the official had the advantage of our replay, he would realize it was not a forward pass, but the official made what he thought was the right call, and it just really is showing the great play that Darryl Wad had, and he had a lot of help from Ricky Osikusi, but Darryl Wad, the Lone Star player of the game, really did a great job.
And for Mac, what a win for them. They had a rough season last year, a lot of injuries. They lost twice to Western last year, including in the OUA semifinal here, 31-3. This has got to feel good for them.
Well, it certainly feels great, for McMaster. They lost in the playoff game to Western last year. They're having a great season again this year. They come into Western Stadium. They play tough, and then they are able to hold off a bit of a charge by Western, and then took the ball down at the end of the game and scored when they had to. And Western will look at the film, as all teams do, and find the areas that they have to improve on. They had some replacement people in the secondary, and but so did McMaster. They lost their best defensive back, Caputo, and he didn't play the whole second.
To Guelph in a couple weeks, but their next game is at home against Laurier, coming off a win over York today, 27-10. Perhaps a lower scoring than we would have thought, because we know York has struggled significantly this season.
Absolutely, and what you have to understand too is that this was really Western's first game test of the year, and I think they stepped up to the plate to show that they are a contender. They're against a very good MAC team, and Western's a really good football team as well. But what it shows that there's still tons of work in the middle of the season to take care of if you want to have a championship team and put together a championship run. And there were some bright spots in this game for sure.
We now go to John Urban with Marshall Ferguson. John.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with the QB for the McMaster Marauders. First of all, congratulations on staying undefeated.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels great.
Talk about the mountain, though, that you had to climb in order to do it.
I think the mountain in general is the Western Mustangs defense. They're always great. They're so athletic. They fly up and down the field, and they're tough to beat vertically. So, it's a win that we definitely needed.
Talk about your kicker, Tyler Crapena, setting a record now.
He did get it today, didn't he?
Yeah, some people care about records, but this is obviously the cherry on the sundae, so to speak.
Yeah, Ty's an awesome guy, and he's the most consistent person I've ever been around. He's mastered his craft. He's going to have a hell of a CFL career too. So it's great for him to set a record, but I'm sure he cares more about the W too.
Now the experts coming into this game would say that this is a Yates Cup preview. Fair to say?
There's a couple other great teams in this league. I haven't seen scores from today. I know Guelph and Windsor were playing. That's a big one. But when you're looking at the league, I think Western's going to be there every single time. And, it's not like our guys are hooping and hollering, running off the field because we know we're going to play them again. So there's nothing wrong with that.
McMaster and Western have been featured in the Yates Cups all the way back to 2006. I got to ask you this question before I let you go. Yep. Heading into the postseason from here on out, considering you guys all but have first place locked up, how does your momentum go in the team locker room? Are you guys excited and popping champagne already, or you still got a mountain to climb, so to speak?
Well, first of all, we got Laurier and Western to play, they're great teams. I have a lot of respect for their coaching staffs and all their athletes. I'm buddies with a lot of guys on those teams, so they're going to be tough in the next 2 weeks. But moving forward, we're in our bye week now. It's time to reevaluate how we can get even better and, come back with the last 2 weeks of the regular season and be ready to fire it up and get after this thing because we got a hell of a locker room, a lot of character, a lot of great guys. So I'm looking forward to getting after it.
The quarterback for the McMaster Marauders, Marshall Ferguson, congratulations on staying undefeated and handing Western's first loss of the year.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, man.
Guys, as you can imagine, the McMaster Marauders are excited to say the least with their victory that they have pulled out today. Marshall Ferguson was an absolute beast, and he had to be coming into this game. He's going up against one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Will Finch, and maybe Nigel can touch on this before we leave today, but at homecoming, it was about interceptions with Will Finch, and today it really seemed like the sacks started to really play an effect.
Just take a look at what Marshall Ferguson's done today. Had a nice game.
As he just rolled right through the Western defense.
There you see similar many of the plays. He's throwing the ball high, giving his receivers a chance to make the catch. And 3 or 4 times the receivers came up with outstanding catches. Other times the Western defender was able to knock him down. Really was a close game in terms of throwing that ball. Marshall Ferguson got away with some throws, but he also made some throws, and that's a tribute to a quarterback coming through when he had to. And he's a veteran quarterback, and give him credit. He took his team down the field when he had to. He made the throw when he had to, and that's a sign of a good team. And he's got to be proud of his accomplishments today.
Well, and that's the thing. We noted a number of times that he may have gotten away with a few passes, but when push came to shove on that last drive, he was impeccable passing the ball.
He really was, and if you take a look at that last drive, he certainly had time to throw the ball, and he got the ball out against zone coverage defense in the wide part of the field that seemed to be open. And, if you're not going to get pressure to the quarterback, then you got to make sure that your coverage downfield in zone coverage takes those passes away, and Western did not do that in the final minute, which ultimately hurt them.
Well, the final score from TD Waterhouse Stadium is 32-29 for the McMaster Marauders. Next game, Thursday night, 7 p.m. here. They host the Laurier Golden Hawks. Take a look at some game highlights now. The game that was. It started off well for Western. Will Finch with a beautiful touchdown run, but he was under pressure all day, and he had a tough time finding time. This was a free hit on Marshall Ferguson, but he stood in there and took some hits.
Well, both quarterbacks took some really big hits, and that last highlight you saw Ricky Osikusi getting in there and putting a big hit on Marshall. He bounced up and showed that he's a tough competitor. And then later on, you saw Will Finch receive a big hit as well. And so both quarterbacks stood under the pressure. I think a common theme in the game, though, Christian, was the receiver's inability to get open when the offensive line for Western gave Will Finch time to find someone. Will Finch did not find his receivers open, and he stepped up into the pocket and took a lot of sacks. And if you weren't at the game and you look at the sacks, you'd go, what the heck happened with the offensive line? But honestly, the offensive line did a good job protecting Will throughout most of that game, and it really was the perhaps Western receivers not getting open or just outstanding coverage by the secondary of McMaster.
And what can we say about the special teams play of the McMaster Marauders? Not only were they good on field goals, they did have the one miscue with the botched snap, but 2 fake punts that were successful. Those were huge.
They were huge, and special teams really had a huge part in today's game. And I thought after that last botched field goal attempt, it really felt the momentum swing in terms of Western with, limited time left on the clock, and Western goes down and is successful and scores. And give credit for McMaster to come back after that, and give credit to the McMaster coaching staff to make those decisions, fake the punt and throw it twice. And it'll drive the special teams coach crazy knowing that, a team was successful twice getting a third down fake against you. And you can prepare as much as you want, but kids still have to play the game.
Final score from TD Waterhouse Stadium. The McMasters Marauders are undefeated still.